Okie dokie, I believe we are all the way live. Hello and welcome to my graveyard. I am your host of the evening, the Cemetery Man from Salem, Mass. Always taking names and kicking candy ass, live and in living color here with you only on Grande's Graveyard. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's tonight. Yes, we are bringing back probably one of my most popular segments that I've ever done on this show. I'm talking overrated versus underrated non-horror. So this is going to be the first time ever that on this show we're going to be doing non-horror overrated versus underrated. And I mean, man, I have some hot takes tonight that might lose me subscribers. It might throw the dislike button to an all-time high on this channel. It may cause fights in the comments. It may just start a brawl. But I've got some hot takes tonight, Grande's Graveyard, and I'm not afraid to tell you about them because we've got 5 movies in here that are underrated in my opinion, and we've got 5 movies in here that have combined to win 11 Oscars. Yes, we have 11 Oscars in this trash can, and we're going to shit all over them only on the graveyard. Yes, ladies and gents, we're live in living color here tonight, and I'm very excited to have you all in the house, of course. Let's check the chat real quick. We got Donovan Alba in the Heezy. Yo, what's up, Donovan? Hope all is well with you, buddy. Missy is here. Ciao Grande, the Hitman Heart. Are you ready to elbow drop some bad movies and pin them down the winning move? I'm ready to lock in the sharpshooter on these piece of shit movies in here and all their Oscars, and we're going to make them tap out as we make the back of their heels touch the top of their damn heads only on the graveyard. Donovan Grande is the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Yes, I should have wore pink tonight. I went with my classic like red and black attack attire, but I should have went pink and black attack because I have tons of Bret Hart stuff. So, I mean, it is what it is. But people saying hi to one another. Let's get ready to rumble. Double H in the Heezy. Ahoy, ahoy. Hey, speaking of wrestling, he's got a nice AEW belt in his pro picks. That's really cool. The Soulless Trenchcoat Trenchy's in the house. What's going on, Trenchy? We got Dominic St. Clair. We got a Donovan, a Dominic. What the hell is next? Who the heck do we got next coming up in this graveyard chat? But glad to have everybody in the house here tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. I always love doing the overrated versus underrated when it comes to horror movies, but I figured I always like to do a horror burnout episode, especially after spooky season, and we had not 4 but 5 shows in Rocktober, so I can understand how after spooky season people get a little bit burnt out of the genre. So there is why I was like, you know what, why don't we do overrated versus underrated, but instead of horror movies this time, we'll do overrated versus underrated non-horror movies. So I figure this is fun. We have a lot of different genres. We have comedies, we have musicals, we have action movies, we have dramas. We have a ton of different movies that we'll be discussing genre-wise in here. So we're going to go deep here tonight. And I have some hot takes, like I said, that are going to offend people, and I'm so excited to share them. I just can't hide it. But we got Anthony Chobut does Pop Cultures and Openings 2 in the Heezy. Hey, how are you, buddy? By the way, I'm still up to 2006 in the memoirs, and Venom was okay, but the ending is setting up for a Spider-Man 4. Ooh, we got to throw that out, man. We got Brittany Ward in the house. Brittany Ward rocking a new hairstyle. Welcome, Brittany. Hope all is well with you, my friend. The Bucket. Gory Corey is in the house. And we've got 11, there's 11 Oscars in this fucking trash can, and we're going to shit on every single one of them. Only we got Alfa Romero, be nice to Boyhood, damn it. Well, he does know that one of the movies in here, so small spoiler, Boyhood is in the bucket, and I hate that fucking movie, and I'm going to get into it tonight, and we will see what we have to say in the chat about Boyhood. People saying hi to one another. This is great. All right, so everybody, cheers to a safe, happy, healthy weekend. I've got the bottle of agua. I'm not coughing my lungs out here tonight. I'm so sorry. October was just an unhealthy month for the Cemetery Man, and I'm looking forward to November just because I'm just glad to be healthy, glad to be alive. We got a wedding. I might be beating Takako Fuji in a couple of weeks, so I'll drink to that, you son of a bitches. Cheers, everybody. Oh, man. Only the good stuff. Howdy, y'all. Cheers. Absolutely. Gore, gore, gore. Let's see. What's up, Trench? Miss C, baby. Hers. People saying hi. Great, great, great to see y'all talking in the chat. So I generally start the show off hot when I do these. I'm going to do the opposite tonight. Since we're going opposite of horror, we're going to start the show off with one that I actually fucking like. And I do have some physical media here. I've got 4 of the 5 in the cup, so it'll depend. We're going to mix them up here in the Grande's Graveyard Cup. And what do we got over here? All right, we actually have the one that I don't own on physical media. So let me get the share screen up here. This is the one thing about this is random. It's not always the easiest to do these share screens because I don't know what's coming next. But if you have patience and bear with me, We'll go right here. Of course, this one from the year 1992. A movie that I've always found really underrated. Now, I don't necessarily, and this will be a theme throughout the night, just because a movie's in the underrated cup or the overrated trash can doesn't mean that I necessarily think they're either great or the worst thing I've ever seen. I just think they're either a little bit underrated from what I think the potential, captured, or got a little too much praise. Now, this is one of those movies that I don't love. I don't consider this a classic, but I definitely think this deserves a little bit more love than it's gotten. And of course, this is from 1992, starring the late great, in my opinion, the greatest actor of all time, Robin Williams. And this is his movie. This is Toys. Yes, Toys from 1992, of course, directed by Barry Levinson. We got a brief plot synopsis. When Lieutenant General Leland Zebo, Sir Michael Gambon, inherits a toy-making company and begins making war toys, his employees band together to stop him before he ruins the name of Zebo Toys forever. I totally understand why people don't like this movie, because it's a horse of a different color. This is not really your quintessential Robin Williams movie. This is not really your quintessential Barry Levinson movie. Now, Barry Levinson had been trying to make this since his career had started in the late 1970s. He wrote it with his then wife. And of course, this movie, the scope of it, grand scheme of it was way too big for the plot that they wanted to make. So they had to hold off. Of course, Barry goes on to make movies like Diner, which I love. He goes on to make Rain Man, which is the movie that got him the job to do any passion project that he wanted to do. And thus, he wanted to do Toys. He wanted to finally make this big passion project. And of course, in 1987, he worked with Robin Williams on a little movie called Good Morning Vietnam, which to me is one of the biggest inspirational movies of my life is that movie. And the energy I try to bring on here every day is the energy that Robin Williams brings in that film. So Levinson and Robin Williams had worked together before. They had hit a home run in the 80s. Why not hit it in the 90s? Why not try it again? Now we have a $50 million budget, which for 1992, even for now, $50 million budget, man, that's no joke. And you see all of that on the screen, but this was a movie that bombed. I mean, this movie made $4 million in its opening weekend. It did not even gross half of what the budget was working-wise. It was really poorly marketed. I as much as I love Robin Williams, this is not a great poster to sell the movie. And unfortunately, the movie got buried by critics. Critics just ripped it apart. They hated it. Nobody went to see it. It just became like a lost Robin Williams movie, a lost Barry Levinson movie. Honestly, I'm here to say that I think it's underrated, and for quite a few reasons. Now, reason number one, if you like grand cinema, if you like to watch movies that from a visual perspective just catch your eye and can make you go, ooh and ah, or how the heck did they do that? Or if you're sitting there on your couch questioning, what exactly, how'd they do this? This is one of those movies. I think the scope and grandeur of this movie is truly underrated, and it's never ever mentioned, and it's a shame that it's not. I mean, we have some interesting art direction and sets, these just beautiful sets that look like obviously it was, made from toys. You have this wonderful like blue background in a scene and this like flying bird above, just gorgeous to look at. You have like a pop-up house, how you have pop-up books and the pictures kind of spring to life in 3D. We have a house that does that in this movie. Just a lot of interesting things from a visual perspective here. You, of course, have Robin Williams, who it feels like he's improvising this entire film. I mean, he is fantastic in it as this crazy, son of a toy store owner, and he doesn't inherit the toy store. He's not bitter about it, but his father did it all so he would grow up. He doesn't want his son to, be a child forever. I want you to grow up one day, Leslie. I want you to grow up and be a man. And of course, Robin Williams' sister in this is played by Joan Cusack. This was, of course, the movie that got her the role to be in Addams Family Values the following year. And there is a love interest in the movie played by Robin Wright, who I like to think, because of this movie and her chemistry with Robin, gets to work with Tom in Forrest Gump 2 years down the road after her pregnancy. I love Robin Wright in this movie. I know a lot of people say it's an unnecessary love angle. It doesn't matter. It didn't have any space or place in the movie. I would highly disagree. I love their scenes together. I know the dialogue might be a little awkward and improvised, but I liked their two chemistry. I thought they worked really well. You have LL Cool J, and one of his first ever film roles is this really lovable guy who's Robin Williams' cousin. and he's just so funny and full of life. And I think he just brought a great energy to this movie. Like LL Cool J, this must have been intimidating. You're on set with Robin Williams. You're on set with Barry Levinson. You're on set with Joan Cusack and Robin Wright. And this is one of your first pictures. And he somehow manages to really stand out too. I mean, that goes to show you how talented LL Cool J is. To stand out with this company, I think was really impressive. And I thought he did a good job. I mean, I know why the movie kind of gets hate, because the story and the narrative structure are a little bit abstract, and the third act does kind of suffer from, man, maybe we could have got a better filmmaker do some of these action sequences. But I like the heart of the movie. I like the message of the movie, where, of course, Robin Williams he wants the innocence of toys and wants children to, find happiness and joy in toys. And then, of course, the evil cousin who takes over, he wants to make them into weapons and create this video game like thing where you can simulate these kids flying around in like jet aircrafts and blowing up things for real. That's his evil demonic plan, and Robin Williams has to try to foil it. And I don't know. I really like this thing. I think from top to bottom, it's visually just a treat to your eyes. I think Robin's really good in it. I like the whole cast. I think the movie desperately needs a 4K. And unfortunately, this movie has not been released on physical media since the year of 2001. It was a DVD bare bones release. And ever since 2001, this movie has never gotten a physical media release of any kind. There is no Blu-ray. There is no 4K. I don't know who owns the rights. I don't know why this has never been re-released, especially after, this will sound morbid, but once Robin Williams passed away, I'm shocked no company threw this out there to see if anybody would bite on it. But I guess the whole thing was, critics bashed it, and the movie didn't make any money. There never seemed to be any interest in this. They didn't know how to sell it. And unfortunately, this is a movie that kind of fell by the wayside, and everybody sort of forgets. Robin rebounds the next year with Mrs. Doubtfire, probably his best movie. This one gets kind of lost in the shuffle. And then even Hook with the previous year is, I would say, underrated, even though I know a lot of people do like it. It seems to be a very bipolar movie, whether you love or hate Hook. But people remember Hook. I don't think anybody remembers Toys, like very few, if that. And I think it's a damn shame. I don't know, man. I really like Toys with Robin Williams. I think it's a really good one. But I want to hear what the chat has to say. Let's see what y'all got to say. I think we were here. Hurst, what's up, man? Brittany Ward, Grande, you look good in the red and black. Thank you so much, Brittany. I appreciate that. You look great too with the new hairstyle. Dave from 1993. This underrated movie is pretty funny. Kevin Kline plays two roles, the president and the character. His character is asked to stand for president when he has a stroke. That's right. Toys also had rapper LL Cool J. I haven't seen Toys, but I've heard of it. I think you'd like it. I think, Trenchy, you'd really like this movie. I love the theme song from Toys, Closing of the Year. I love the there's a part where Joan Cusack and Robin Williams, they're looking to take over. And they do, it's funny, they do the Mission Impossible gimmick. If you ever see Mission Impossible, they push this mirror in the hallway and it kind of makes it mirror the camera. And then he and Joan Cusack come out and it's a music video. I thought that was great. I loved that whole sequence. It felt like MTV or something. It was really cool to see Robin Williams and Joan Cusack actually perform the song in like early 90s MTV music video style. It was very weird, but I liked that aspect of the movie. I do agree, though. What holds it back from being a classic? The third act is really poor. It's not well directed. They do a lot of bad slow-mo. It just really needed a better either second unit guy or somebody that knew a little bit more action to have the finale really pay off. I think that was the only flaw this movie really had. It's the uncle. I'm sorry. Yes, I misspoke. It is the uncle. You are absolutely right. Never seen this, but love Mrs. Doubtfire and Patch Adams. Yeah, it's weird. It's not like any other Robin Williams movie. I think that's a big thing. And there's a ton of underrated Robin movies. Boulevard's underrated. World's Greatest Dad is perhaps his most underrated. I think Toys, though, is just one that, for whatever reason, it always got a bad rep, and I always sort of liked the movie. Got this one on the watch list. I'd love to hear your thoughts, Corey. Trenchy, I would be shocked if you didn't like Toys. I really think it would be right up your alley. I highly recommend that one. To those of you, it doesn't sound like many of you seen it other than Slasher Fred. So highly recommend that one. And I guess without further ado, now we have to go into the bag of fuck. All right, we're going into it. We're going into the bag of shit. Close your nose. Hold your fucking. Oh no. Oh Jesus. All right. What do we got? All right. Let's fucking do it. we're about to piss some people off. Every fucking movie in this bin is going to piss somebody off, so I know it. This one might be for the younger crowd, not as well known, but I hate this movie. I hate this lead actress, and I'm about to take a big old shit on this movie. From the year 1968, it's Funny Girl. Yes, Funny Girl from 1968. Brief plot synopsis, unfortunately. The life of Fanny Brice, famed comedian, entertainer of the early 1900s. We see her rise to fame as a sea-freed girl, subsequent career and personal life, particularly her relationship with Nick Arnstein. I fucking hate this movie. With a burning passion, I hate this movie. This is, to me, one of the most overrated, biggest piece of shit Oscar movies that there's ever been. And to me, it's not even close. I mean, I despise this movie, Funny Girl. It's horrible. Now, for one, I hate Barbara Streisand. I can't look at her. Her nose is fucking big. I'm sorry. Her nose takes up 2/3 of the fucking screen. I'm Barbara Streisand. She is such... Her own mother slapped the stork that delivered her. I hate Barbara Streisand. This was one of her first roles, and for some goddamn reason, the producer decided, let's get Funny Girl, let's get fucking the lady that's playing her on Broadway, which was Barbara Streisand. They wanted to have her also in the film. And then, of course, she goes on to star in the movie. She was apparently a pain in the ass to work with. The director hated her ass. They initially wanted Frank Sinatra to be the lead male, but she hated his ass. She had scenes from Anne Francis, who's a damn good actress, diminished and cut out of the movie pretty much. I mean, she's still in the movie, but she had her scenes like pretty much just anorexia down to the point where she just doesn't have as big a role as she was going to. It's for a movie called Funny Girl, she's not funny. I don't laugh in this movie. I cringe. I don't find any of the musical numbers entertaining. I don't find them amusing. I find them just like a nail on a chalkboard, man. It just goes right through your brain, and it's just straight up torture. I mean, I'm sorry, but I just can't stand this movie. It's absolute shit. And for a fucking film where, of course, instead of getting Frank Sinatra, their whole big idea was, let's get Omar Sharif. And Omar Sharif was picked over a lot of bigger actors. I mean, he was picked over a Cary Grant, over a fucking Frank Sinatra. He was picked over some bigger guys. But the whole thing was Omar Sharif and Barbara Streisand were married at the time, decided to have an affair while making this movie for real. They had a real life affair. And yet somehow, even though both were cheating on their spouses and ended up ruining their own marriages, have not one lick of chemistry when they're on the screen together in this love story, which I didn't buy. You couldn't sell it. You couldn't sell it to fucking Dolph Ziggler. You couldn't sell this to anybody. And for some reason, this is considered a huge all-time classic movie. It won one Oscar, of course. Barbara Streisand tied for Best Actress at the Oscars, and she said her opening line when she accepted the award at the Oscars with her big nose and her fake laugh, and I can't stand Babs. I'm sorry to any Barbara Streisand fan or to anyone who unfortunately has a big schnoz, but I can't stand Babs, and she stinks. And this movie stinks, and it's over fucking rated in my opinion. So that's why it's in the trash can. I'm curious to hear what y'all have to say. Is anybody else a fan of Funny Girl? Because this is just not a movie I find funny. Never seen Toys, only like Robin Williams and Miss Doubtfire and Jack. Wow, okay. Jack is an interesting one. I really rarely hear people mention that one. House of D, controversial but kind of underrated. You had mentioned that to me, and I had never seen it before until you recommended it years ago, and I loved House of D. That's another one super underrated. That really would have fit right in here. That would have absolutely fit. Funny Girl is a classic. There you go. So I pissed off Slasher Fred. I'm sorry, Fred. I just can't stand Funny Girl. I don't find it funny. I don't find the songs entertaining. I don't think the choreography is anything to run home about. And this is not a situation I could totally see somebody saying, well, Grande, it's a musical. Maybe you don't like musicals. Horse shit. I love musicals. I fucking love High School Musical. I love Grease. I love Singing in the Rain. I love musicals. I have a movie that's sort of a musical in the cup to my left. So I don't dislike musicals. It's not a disconnect between me and not liking a musical subgenre of film. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm just talking about a movie that I find unbearable. And you know what? For money's worth, for my money's worth, this is a movie that is 2 hours and 31 cocksucking minutes. 2 hours and 31 minutes of Barbara Streisand trying to break into the business and her rise to fame and her lack of chemistry with Omar Sharif, who she was fucking in real life until she met John Peters, who was her goddamn hairdresser and decided to say, take the cape off Superman, stop him from flying, and he wanted to battle a fucking spider in the third act of a movie or Nicolas Cage, Sean Penn, whoever the fuck wants to play the Man of Steel. That never happened. And if you want to see the fucking big spider fight, go watch Wild Wild West, because God damn it, oh my God, I hate Barbara Streisand. What a Hola Grande and chat and everyone. See, we're one movie into this fucking shit pile, and I'm already turning red. So if I faint and I collapse on my own show, I loved y'all. I really did. I never heard of this one. You dug deep on this one going into 60s Oscar winners. Dude, there's some movies in here that, like, people are going to get pissed off about. I have a movie in here that won 8 Oscars, and I hate the movie. So we'll get there, my friend. Watched Nuts, all caps, 1987. Babs plays a mentally ill prisoner on trial for murder, I think. Yeah, maybe she just is a mentally ill, big-nosed woman. Hey, Grande and everyone, Juno 2000, welcome to the chat, my friend. People saying hi to Juno and everybody else that just entered the chat. Slasher Fred says, Teen Witch from 1989, this ripoff of Carrie, is almost like a musical. It has some musical-like numbers. Well, Teen Witch is a much better movie than this, and that should have won an Oscar. Hearst Hill's laughing at something. I don't know what I said. Maybe, hey there, yeah, Streisand is insufferable. Dude, she is. And I'm so sorry if you like Babs. If people like Babs, that's fine. I'm just sorry. I just don't like Babs. I never will. She's just horrible. She's the worst there is now. I only saw one Streisand film and only saw it for Chris Christopherson, A Star is Born. I wasn't impressed with Babs at all, so I'm not surprised. Yeah, no one should be impressed with Babs because she's just awful. Another underrated, Moscow on the Hudson, World According to Garp. Fuck, we could do a whole underrated show on Robin Williams movies. Like, we really fucking could. I thought it was funny when South Park made fun of Barbara Streisand. I've not seen that. I'm going to have to go see that, man. Cocksucking Minutes. I swear this is the only entertainment I get. I'm grateful. Thank you so much. It just stinks. Dude, if you pass out, that'd be the craziest shit. Dude, I'm under the hot lights. You gotta understand, this light is hot as fuck. Like, it just radiates on my fucking face. Oh man, when you get heated and when you get mad, forget it. Triple M, Mernzies Movie Mansions in the house. What is up, Graveyard Family? Let's get it. Grande, be gentle. Well, I almost fucking passed out burying this piece of shit called Funny Girl. So let's move on from Funny Girl before I have a brain aneurysm. Let's face it. Let's go back to the underrated cup. All right. Let's figure it out here. What do we got over here? Oh my goodness. All right. This is going to be controversial because I adore this movie, and I always have since I saw it in the theater at the age of 5 years old. Is when I first saw this movie. I saw this movie in Pennsylvania with my grandmother, and we saw it in a mall. And I remember being super excited for the movie at the time, and I walked out super impressed. I remember my grandmother was pissed, and pretty much every other single person that saw the movie got pissed too. This is from the year 2002. This, and I've got the DVD for it right here. Why not? Why not show it up? Is the Country Bears. Yes, the Country Bears. I'm not kidding you. I just buried Funny Girl, and I'm putting over the Country Bears. Is this not a controversial night? I don't know about y'all, but I think it is. Brief plot synopsis. Barry Barrington goes on an adventure to save Country Bear Hall by getting the Country Bears back together for one last reunion rock concert. Hell yeah. I love this movie, and I don't give a shit what anybody says. Now, I know this is a made fun of film. It's considered to be one of the worst Disney movies ever made. People say they only made it because, Pirates of the Caribbean was going to be a huge hit. And then, of course, they decided, oh, well, this is another Disney theme park ride that we do. Let's see how this does. And, of course, this bombed. This movie made no money. It was a huge Universal flop. The critics tore it apart. Just nobody liked this thing, man. But I guess I might have caught it at the right age. And this might be a situation where nostalgia has blinded my 4 eyes. It's very possible. But I adore this movie. I love the Country Bears. And now basically the plot synopsis is, I've said the plot synopsis, but this is basically your road film. So what happens is we have Barry Barrington, voiced by Haley Joel Osment, of course. And this is just a few years after The Sixth Sense. This is like 3 years after The Sixth Sense. So this was early in Haley Joel Osment's career. He voices this bear who's been adopted by humans, and this is a world where humans coexist with bears, and they're big animatronic bears. They're not CGI, which I personally like. I know a lot of people think it's ridiculous, and understandably so, but to me, I suspend a little disbelief. It's a fucking movie about animatronic bears, whatever. He finds out he's adopted by his human parents, and he's a big music fan. He listens to Nine Inch Nails, which I thought was funny, and of course he's a big fan of this band called the Country Bears. And what the Country Bears was in this world was basically like the Beatles. That's pretty much what they're trying to be. Like, this guy's trying to be like John Lennon. This guy is like they all have their Beatles connections, I suppose. This guy's Ringo, like, for sure. And what happens is they were this big band, iconic band. They sold out every night. People were hanging from the rafters of Country Bear Hall. And this is after their prime. They're has-beens now. No one cares about them anymore. They've broken up. They've all gone their separate ways. And Barry decides, well, this family I'm with now is not my actual family. What if I tried to get the Country Bears back together? And he goes to Country Bear Hall. They tell him that they're going to tear the place down. And then he decides, hey, I've got to freaking get the band back together. What if we got the band back together, did one last show here to try to save Country Bear Hall? And at first they scoff at the kid. Kid, get lost, whatever. And then he basically convinces them, because Christopher Walkin is in this movie playing this big evil heel who's super over the top and funny in this movie. If you love Christopher Walkin, he's gold in this. He's so fucking funny and over the top in it. Tear down Country Bear Hall. Like, he's so, well, I'm Christopher Walken. I'm going to take down your Country Bear Country Music Hall. He's so Christopher Walken in it, to the point where it's like, you will freaking knee slap laughing. That's how funny Christopher Walken is in this. I can't tell you enough how great he is in this. He's this evil heel. And then basically the rest of the film, it's a road movie where they go to pick up each individual bear that's gone their own way, and they all have their own demons that they have to overcome in order to get the band back together. And now, if you're listening to this plot, you may think it's sounding familiar. And I know Mernsey is a big Muppets guy. If you've seen the Muppets from 2011, it's almost the same plot. And I love that movie. That movie gets a lot of praise, the Muppets 2011, but this movie gets all the shit, and everybody hates this movie. And I need to shine some light on this tonight on the Graveyard, man, because I think that the hate for the freaking Country Bears is unjust. We're introduced to Fred Betterhead, who's voiced by Ray Romano's brother on Everybody Loves Raymond. I forget the actor's name, but hey, Ray, the one with the really deep voice. Hey, Ray, Mom doesn't love me like she loves you. You know, that guy. I mean, he's great in this as the voice. You have the one guy, Zeb Zuber, and in this movie, he's gone. They're basically saying he's gone an alcoholic, but he's gone in love with honey. And he owes Queen Latifah like $500, and then they come this huge bet where if he wins a rock off, he can get away with the money and they can go on their way. And so on and so forth. One of the bears had his heart broken. His bear left him for a panda. Like, it's fucking stupid. One of the bears, he became a wedding singer, and they have to convince him to leave his job. Like, I don't know why, but I think this movie is fucking hysterical, and I always found it hysterical. And there are some bizarre cameos in this. Elton John is in this movie. Queen Latifah, like I said, Christopher Walken, fucking, like, really, like, people where you're like, what? Like, what are they doing in this movie? Like, bizarre, truly bizarre. And while they're, of course, running around trying to pick everybody up, the cops are after them because Barry's parents think he's been kidnapped by these people. So you have that whole subplot too. First of all, I love the animatronic bears. I think they look great. I think the music in the movie is really good. Now, I hate country music. I, with a passion, despise country music. But I love the Country Bears. I mean, the music in this movie is great. The whole fiddle off, and I think that is fantastic. The song at the end, straight to the heart of love, should be the loneliest question. Come on, Graveyard. I love the fucking finale of this. We take the long way around. We get lost and we get found. I mean, I love the music, all of it. It's just really good. It's catchy. It's entertaining. Kick it into gear where they're in the diner and everybody's dancing in the diner. I love that too. I don't know. I can see why people don't like it because it's absurd, But to a 5-year-old child, it was great to me. And I still think to this day, it's a very good kids movie. Of course, some of the ridiculous things in it. Christopher Walken, it has appeared that he has history with the Country Bears, and he is a disgruntled armpit farter who lost the talent show to them when he was like 17. And that's why he wants to demolish Country Bear Hall. And there is some fucking scenes, I shit you not, where Christopher Walken is running around in bunny slippers and he's crushing these fake replicas of Country Bear Hall with a fucking anvil in his office. You can look up the scene if you don't believe me. He's going, oh no, someone has smashed Country Bear Hall. He's great. And fucking in the end, when they find out who he is, Zeb Zuber has the best line of the movie. They go, that's him, the armpit fodder. Like his fucking voice cracks, the armpit fodder. To me, one of the greatest lines in cinema is the armpit fodder. Then, of course, the famous at the end, which this has become probably the number one thing this movie's remembered for, is Christopher Walken at the end when they're crowding Country Bear Hall. They've gotten the band back together and they're dragging him out by his arms. Christopher Walken shouts, "No! Baz! Baz!" He's screaming, "Baz!" That's become like iconic. Everybody fucking talks about that now. That fucking stupid line. Baz! Baz! And they do the whole show. And you know, for a dumb movie, and I don't deny it's dumb, I loved the heart of it. I loved the message. Here you have Barry Barrington. I was adopted by humans. I don't feel like this is my birth family. I don't feel loved. I'm going to go chase something that I've loved my whole life in the Country Bears and try to get their family back together. And while there's a big argument at one point when we're all on the bus together, he realizes, he goes, I shouldn't be here. I should be home with my family who did love me, who did take me in, who even though they're different on the outside than from what I am, I love them for how they've treated me. And I never should have ran away from home. And this is not where I belong. I belong there. And I think through that whole admission, the Country Bears realized we should have never left our home either. We all had each other's backs. We were the Beatles, man. We were the Country Bears. We had bear power, and we were selling out places. They were hanging from the rafters, and everybody was loving to love the Country Bears. And we've got to come together and save this thing. And, of course, both parties come together. Christopher Walken gets dragged away, and we all lived happily ever after as we sing some country music and the credits roll. It's a short movie. I don't even think it's 80 minutes long. It's entertaining. It's funny. It's a lot more funny than Funny Girl, and it's 2.5 times shorter. No Barbara Streisand. I mean, I love this movie. I'm sorry. Country Bears, it might be the worst movie I've ever put over on Grande's Graveyard, but I love it. It's underrated, goddammit. Let's see what y'all have to say in the comments, because I probably lost 17 subscribers in the meantime. People saying hi to Mearns. The SNL sketch with Joe Piscopo imitating Babs as Mental, a parody talking about her writing, producing, directing Yentl. I have not seen that. That sounds incredible, though. James Abernathy's in the house. James, welcome, my friend. People laughing. That's always good. Benny and June, this underrated drama movie has very 80s songs. I'm going to be by the Proclaimers. Okay. Country Bears is awesome in its own right. Yes. See, Trench is young like I am. So we know that the Country Bear is actually a classic. Everybody else, dude, this movie, to clarify how much this movie's hated, IMDb has this movie at a 4.3. A 4.3. Against a $35 million budget, this barely grossed $18 million worldwide. This was a monster flop. Like, I know they tried this with Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy, which for what it's worth, I like that too. Again, maybe because I was younger. That movie wasn't a bomb, though. Like, it was a $90 million budget. I think it made like 180, so it doubled. It's your money times two. It like broke even. That's a fine movie too, but this was like a monumental collapse. And it's a big punching bag over the years. Oh, remember when they tried to do what Pirates of the Caribbean did, but they did it shitty with this? I hate those people. Well, I don't hate those people, but I hate their opinion. James, I think pretty tired though. Hi guys. Well, I hope my talking about the Country Bears woke you up. If not, if it put you to sleep, it is what it is. Dude, I'm pretty sure Disney buried this movie. I hear more about Home on the Range than this, which is insane. Home on the Range has fucking Roseanne Barr as a cow. Let's not go there. Let's not go there. Well, damn, I got to see Country Bears now. Dude, of course. Where have I been? I've never heard of this. Well, I don't know how old you would have been in 2002. I was 5, so I still saw this in the movie theater and loved it. Have always wanted to see the super duper baked and get super duper baked and watch this. Where's the Criterion 4K? Well, there's one of these that got a Criterion 4K. We'll be there. LMAO Country Bears. I might have to watch this. I have a soft spot for cheesy movies. Miss C, I guarantee you love this movie. I guarantee it. I'm gonna make a bold, guaranteed statement that Miss C would love this. The movie is dumb and easy to make fun of, but it has a lot of heart and fun, watchable film. Plus, Walkin is insane. I agree. It's not like, to me, what truly makes a film bad, if you're talking about a kid's movie, is if it's dull and there's no life to it. This has life, it has jokes, it has craziness. It is stupid. I'm not trying to sit here and say it's this genius movie and they fucking created it in a lab and they asked Albert Einstein for his fucking script supervision. I'm not trying to say it's a movie about animatronic country singing bears. I know it's stupid. You don't have to explain it to me. But for what it's worth, I thought it was fun. I thought it had a nice heart too. I'm right with Trenchy. I mean, man, I couldn't be more with you. Oops, I was spelled mental after Yentl. Oh, well. No worries, Synth. I think mental is totally fine. Do you think Walkin was snubbed at the Oscar? Oh, dude. Christopher Walkin is so great in this movie, I can't even tell you enough. The armpit farter. Yeah, the disgruntled armpit farter, which is insane that happened, but it's true. The Muppets is awesome. I completely agree. Muppets rule. All original TV shows on YouTube. And the bear puppets, they are. Dude, I agree. You can see the money that went into it. They look great. Country Bears have a water ride in Disney California Adventure. Pretty fun. I've never been on the Country Bears Jamboree, but I'd always love to. We should do a video movie night on Grande's Graveyard and watch it. I'm going to need some wine, though, it sounds like. Yeah, no. Hey, I know you can get the kids and wine. I mean, this is a good movie for everybody. This is a good movie for the whole family. I'd be down for that watching if I could find it somewhere. I'm sure it's on Disney+. I mean, I have the full screen DVD, so it is what it is. There are 2 underrated Whoopi Goldberg, I remember, that were funny, Made in America and Soap Dish. Okay. I need Grande and King to bring back Summertime. Oh, man, I love working with Gory Corey, man. I'm happy he's back. I'm very happy he's back. This movie is low-key classic. I fucking agree. Dude, I agree with you. I'm so happy. I thought I was going to get made fun of. I've gone back and forth with this movie myself at times, but in the end, you can't deny how fun and unique it is. Dude, I wholeheartedly agree with you. I really do. One of the old musical movies I have seen is New Faces of 1937. This movie had inspired. I didn't know that. I first saw it on Disney Channel. You know, it's funny. In retrospect, I bet you they wish they released it on Disney Channel because it definitely could qualify for a Disney Channel original movie. Oh, one with a huge budget. Like, you do see the budget. You have the guy from the Eagles sing one of the songs. You have some really good talent in this. New Faces of 1937, underrated musical number, had inspired Mel Brooks to direct his film, The Producers, which is one of my favorite comedies of all time. But let's get back into the bag of Overrated. Yes, we've talked enough about bears now, I think. So let's see. Oh, boy. This next one, man. I know I said this is mostly non-horror, but I watched this movie last weekend and got so fucking mad by it that I had to include it on the show. It bumped off another overrated, Oscar movie. So that one got off the hook. This one, as far as I know, won't be nominated for any Oscars, but I don't know. I'm hearing rumors that maybe the lead actress will be. I hope not, because I despise this movie. This movie came out this year, 2024. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a new kid on the block. And I hate this movie with a burning passion. This is from 2024. This is The Substance. Yes, The Substance from 2024. Brief plot synopsis. A fading celebrity takes a black market drug, a cell-replicating substance that temporarily creates a younger, better version of herself. Yes. Of course, starring Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, Dennis Quaid. I know, before I talk about it, I've heard so many people put this movie over. Billy Henry said, best horror movie of the year, no question. Mernsey loved it. The Dead Pit guys unanimously said this is the best horror movie of the year. I've heard it a lot. I've heard a lot of people say this is without a doubt best horror movie of the year, no questions. I'm sorry, but fucking no way, in my opinion. Stop motion beats the shit out of this. Fucking Longlegs beats the shit out of this. I mean, I'm not even kidding you. I think there are Blumhouse movies that could beat the shit out of this. I hated this movie from top to bottom. I thought this was a waste of time, a waste of 2.5 hours of my life. And you should not waste 2.5 hours of your life at all, because this is a piece of monkey shit movie. It tells the story of Demi Moore, who is this like aerobics TV personality, a la Richard Simmons, but a sexy woman. And she has been, for years, the face of this television station. Everybody loved her. She's over like Rover. But one day she decides and figures out, I'm getting older. And she's fired from her job. She's feeling down. And of course, gets into a bad car accident. And they tell her, hey, you'd be a great candidate. And she goes, for what? And they kind of subtly hint that, okay, you'd be a great candidate for this. And she goes, okay, what's going on? So she orders this thing called the substance, where if you inject yourself with the substance, a younger version of you will break out of your back and for 1 week gets to go out into the real world. And every week you have to alternate with your, younger, more beautiful version of yourself. And while they don't really share the same mind, they also are also one, which I thought was a bad thing in the movie. It wasn't really explained all that well, but it is what it is. I'm hearing so many people discuss this movie and how original it was and how creative it was and how good the body horror was in this movie and how good the psychological stuff is with the whole feelings of not feeling desirable anymore. I get it. If you love this movie, that's totally cool. I respect it, but I'm going to rip it a new asshole right now. So that's just me. First of all, this being an original concept, no. This has been done to fucking death. Beauty Rest, Mary Mary, fucking Black Swan, fucking Dumplings. And I know, people say, oh, well, Black Swan wasn't necessarily focusing on beauty, but the whole moral message is there of you have to, at the end of the day, no matter how old you are, how young you are, how hard you're worked, how in over the head you are, you have to love who's in the mirror at the end of the day. You have to love you for you. You are perfect just the way you are. Play the cheesy, shitty song. That's the whole message here, where Demi Moore, you don't really ever get a line as to why, right? Like, is she sad she lost her job? Does she still want the fame? Does she feel ugly personally? It's never said. They don't give her any character. She just, I'm fired, I'm crying, I'm sad. It's never said. She never breaks out and says, I used to be beautiful, or comes out and say, those son of a bitches, I broke my back. I worked sick for them. All this, you needed a monologue for her to act. And all these people coming around saying, oh my God, Demi Moore should win an Oscar for this movie. You didn't give her anything to fucking do. She barely has a character in it. And you don't think that she has barely any character in it. Look at Margaret Qualley. Margaret Qualley has even less of a character in this movie. She has negative character. She's all ass, no character. Oh, well, Grande, there's nudity in it. Aren't you excited about that? Even there's a little bit of fucking nip slips in this. Dude, you have Margaret Qualley show her yits, and they're fucking fake. It's like genetically or CGI or whatever pasted over. So that wasn't really her yits. We get a million ass shots of her, but there's no character. She's just, oh, I'm hot. I'm here to take over. The boss pig character is played by Dennis Quaid, who is awfully over the top. And this whole shitty Barbie world they've created for this movie with all the colors. Oh, look, we're in the Barbie world. Where the fuck is Greta Gerwig? You've created this shitty Barbie world that we all live in here, are trying to tell this serious story and at the same time being goofy as fuck. The tone of this movie was my biggest problem. It's truly all over the place. We're trying to say something important about, feeling undesired, but then we're acting like a trauma film. It's just all over the place. And Dennis Quaid, I'm so sorry, but this is the worst supporting actor performance I have seen since Dermot Mulroney in fucking Scream 6. It was an atrocious performance. And I know that fucking Ray Liotta was going to play this part prior to his death. R.I.P. Ray. I mean, Dennis Quaid couldn't have been worse in this movie. He is so awful and over the top, and just, you don't have any hate for him because he was just so shitty in the role. Smile. Oh, you're beautiful. Show me your moneymaker. Ha 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 ha. Dude, that's horrible acting. There's no heat there because you could tell that he did not buy into the role. The role sucks. He's terrible in it. There's a scene, I'm eating shrimp. Look at me. I'm this horrible, greedy, evil businessman. Zoom into me while I'm eating this shrimp like a fucking gavone. Dude, atrocious. And I'm sorry. But I love Stanley Kubrick. But what the fuck? How many times can you homage Stanley Kubrick in your films? Oh, do you remember the carpet from The Shining? Oh, it's here too. Oh, do you remember the shot of Jack Nicholson standing over the door, that POV of the door in her head, and he's screaming, going crazy? Do you remember that shot in The Shining? Oh, have you seen 2001: A Space Odyssey? We're going to play the fucking music from 2001: A Space Odyssey and have a big old light show like 2001: A Space Odyssey. How much can you rip this motherfucker off? He's been dead since 1999. How much can you rip his fucking ass off? He's been dead for 25 years, and you ripped him off about 47 times in this movie. And people, oh my God, what a visionary filmmaker. This is from the idiot that made Revenge. This idiot who hasn't worked in 7 years, hasn't made a movie, and then comes out with this, all the marks in the semicircle. Oh, body horror, come on. No. This is fucking poor body horror. Are the effects good? Sure. Are some of the usages of sound good in the movie to portray horror through sound? I thought that was great. Those are two things in your fucking entire movie that I liked. No good performances. I thought the fucking story could have just absolutely gone by the wayside. You have to sit there for 2.5 hours to get through this son of a bitch, and it literally could have been over in an hour and a half. You easily could have told this story in an hour and a half. Oh, Demi Moore is getting jealous of her fucking other self. And she has her fingers aging. Then her legs are aging. Then she's old, decrepit woman. And she's angrily making chicken. And she's angrily stuffing her fucking face. There's a scene in this movie where Demi Moore pulls out a chicken wing out of her fucking belly button. And the marks applauded at the theater like this was the second coming of fucking Christ. And they pull the chicken wing out of her belly button. What is there to like? What is there to like here? It's just atrocious. Wasn't that gross? I don't need to see. That's not horror to me. Horror to me is not pulling a fucking chicken wing out of your belly button. I'm sorry. It's just truly horrible. I just don't understand why this movie got the praise that it got. I mean, look at the fucking reviews for this movie. I mean, it has a 7.5 on IMDb. It's horror movie of the year for all these people. I just don't see it. I don't even see, I don't at all. I mean, it all leads up to Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley. They fight each other. It's a cat fight to the death. Oh, but it's violent. Who cares? I don't care about these characters. It took 2 hours for them to fight. And it all goes to this big, you're going to host the New Year's Eve show. And she shows up, this hideous blob. And the whole movie ends like a trauma film where everybody's like getting gore thrown on them. It's dead alive all of a sudden. And then fucking Demi Moore's sludgy, Belial looking face crawls over to her Hollywood star and smiles. You've reached stardom, baby. Smile. Fuck you. Fuck your movie. It sucks a fucking donkey dick. And I fucking will never watch it again. It wasted 2.5 hours of my life watching this scumbag movie. Fuck this shit. Absolutely fucking insane. Yeah, it's absolutely fucking insane that somebody pulled out a chicken wing out of their fucking belly button. Go to hell. Let's let's go to chalk comments here. Let's see. There are 2 underrated Whoopi Goldberg I remember were Funny Maid in America and Soap Dish. Okay. Okay, I was already there. Where the heck were we? Did we not get? Did I lose a lot of people on The Substance? Oh man, The Substance was a fun one. Not totally original, but entertaining, a la old. See, I didn't have fun. Like, to me, see, here's my thing, Synth. Pick a tone. That's my biggest problem with this movie. You couldn't pick a tone. We're in a goofy Barbie world. Dennis Quaid is a fucking idiot over the top. Then Demi Moore, I'm dealing with these things. I'm feeling depressed. Nobody loves me. We don't get told what really is the reason that she's going for the substance. I would have loved to have been told that. Please tell me why. I would just love to know, because there's so many different reasons what it could have been, and you could have added a little bit of fucking layer to her one-dimensional character. And then you get Margaret Qualley coming out, and she's even less than one-dimensional. She's like negative dimensional. I didn't have fun at all. I don't know. To me, the movie is presented seriously, but fucking in this goofy world. And then by the end, it's a trauma film. Where's Lloyd Kaufman at? I'm sorry. I just did not. I couldn't have fun with it. I just thought it was terrible. AR Vlogs Team Salute. That is a first time ever. Welcome to the graveyard, my friend. Hope all is well with you. Hope I didn't scare you away with a rant. Oh no, don't piss off Mernsey. I haven't seen it yet. If I do at all, so I have no opinion. Okay, maybe Migor's called me a loser. I don't know. Did you know that before there was an Avengers movie about a team of superheroes, there was a movie which based off the classic British spy series? I did not know that. Oof, Dermot and Mulroney in Scream 6 was a rough performance, like hard to watch. Dude, I agree. And in Welcome Evil Connor, dude, Dennis Quaid, this may be a little too far to say this, but it's the truth. Dennis Quaid, you need to retire. I truly think is one of the worst performances I've ever seen in a movie. Like, he completely missed the fucking point of how to gain heat. It's just so, I'm trying to be a douchebag, but it didn't work. There was no genuine, it's just like, here, he's trying to get you to hate him, but he's just acting like an idiot. And then people loved him. Billy told me no way. Dead Pit said no way. Everybody told me no way. Dennis Quaid was great in it. I'm sorry, but Dennis Quaid sucked in this movie, in my opinion. I do think Ray Liotta would have been better. Yes. I mean, this would have been interesting for Ray Liotta to do because that's not something you would think Ray Liotta would do. But Ray could surprise you. Ray had range, man, and people don't recognize or realize that. But Ray was a really good actor. I would have loved to have seen Ray Liotta. Ray Liotta can get you to hate him. Look at, wow, of all the movies to think of, this is the one that came to mind. Observe and Report. He's this mean cop. He's mean to Seth Rogen throughout the whole movie. You genuinely hate this guy. Like, this son of a bitch. He sent Seth Rogen out to this bad neighborhood to die. And fucking, like, you genuinely gain heat. There's no heat to gain on Dennis Quaid. He sucked. It was just such a, I'm trying to be an asshole. Come on. It was such a stupid, oh my God, terrible. It's always cringe when you pay. Dude, yeah, and they did how many Shining nods, how many fucking 2001 nods. I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, come on. You had 2.5 hours to play with, and you really don't ever get much character development of any of these fucking people. Like, that's to me what I wanted. Talk about the situation. Talk about how this makes you feel. Talk about the true horrors of being undesired again. And it never happens in a 2.5 hour film. Not for 1 minute does it happen. Revenge was sick too. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like this filmmaker. I don't like her. I don't think she's good. I don't think she's talented. Corrali Farget. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing it, but I really don't care. What's up, Trench? I don't like Revenge. No, that's to me not a good fucking movie. But that's just me. My humble opinion. Ew, what a chicken wing out of where? I swear to God that happens in this movie. I'll admit I was a sucker for the female lead, although she was argumented for the nude scenes. I mean, yeah, you can see naked 50-year-old plus Demi Moore in this movie. So, I mean, if that turns you on, go for it. Best body horror scene, the hangnail scene in Black Swan. I think Black Swan reminded me a lot of this, even though, again, not beauty, but this was the whole idea at the end was she realizes I didn't love myself. And we never get a proper build to that payoff to me. Instead, we get this fucking, it's trauma. Like that. I didn't like that, man. There are a lot of people who loved it. A lot of people had fun with it. I'm just not one of them. I thought this sucked. No, in this movie, Connor, I haven't seen Scream 6. Found 5 kind of bland, not bad, just forgettable. True, the tone was all over the place. It's fairly psychotic. That's what I felt. I felt the tone just ruined it. I love the underrated movie, The Wizard from 1989. You have a young boy who is coping with the loss of his sister and has a talent for playing video games. I've not seen that one. That's pretty cool. To be fair, Dennis Quaid's worst was Great Balls of Fire a long time ago, playing Jerry Lee Lewis. Fair enough. Talk about annoying homages. Eli Roth made a career out of them. That's a fact too. Absolutely. I'm right there with you. So The Substance can kiss my ass. I'm sorry. I don't like The Substance. I think it sucks. I probably lost some viewers and got some dislikes. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest with y'all. This is a movie where I put over animatronic singing country bears and just buried a movie that most people are saying is easily the best horror movie of the year. So that is what it is. But let's go back to underrated to piss some more people off. That's what we're doing here tonight, only on the Graveyard. Let's see what we got up next. Oh, I'm happy we got this movie because, again, I might piss people off here with this take as I'm going to take a brief sip of my agua. I mean, this next movie has got to be in conversation for me for my all-time favorite action movie. Now, I don't know if it is. It's close. It's up there. It's in the conversation. It would be in my top 10. And it's a movie that when it came out, it did okay, but it's never mentioned now amongst one of the great action movies of all time. It stars not one, but two of my favorite action actors of all time. It's directed by a guy that I know has had some controversy, but in my humble opinion, this next movie, I just absolutely love it. It's also, funny enough, from the year 1992. This one, of course, starring the legendary Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren. Universal Soldier. Yes, Universal Soldier from 1992. Brief plot synopsis. Soldiers who were killed in action are brought back to life in a top secret military experiment that creates superhuman warriors. Universal Soldier. I adore this movie. I think this is, to me, one of the most underrated, if not the most underrated action movie ever made. And I've always loved it since I'm a kid. And now this is the thing. I have some hot takes. And no one's going to like me saying this. And I don't know if I doubt Alpha's still here, but if Alpha was here, I think he would probably fucking freak out. I like this better than Terminator 2. And I know a lot of people are going to go, what? Click. I know. And I have an even crazier one hot take in here, but we'll get to that. Both those movies came out around the same time. Judgment Day was 1991. This was 1992. Of course, Judgment Day was a huge, monumental blockbuster hit. This movie did okay, but it did not make a lot of money either. At the time, it was kind of liked, and it's been forgotten by the wayside now. I'm sorry, this movie kicks the shit out of fucking Terminator 2, in my opinion. I'm sorry. I like this way better. I just do. Now, of course, if you haven't seen this movie, I do recommend you do go see it, but of course it stars Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren, and they're both soldiers in the war when the movie opens. And of course you see Jean-Claude Van Damme, they're being attacked, they're under siege, they're under pressure. Jean-Claude Van Damme runs over, he's trying to get people out of, and of course he runs into Dolph Lundgren, who's one of his lieutenants. And Dolph Lundgren kind of turns around to him, and you see that he's lost his mind in the war. He's not all there anymore. And, you know, Dolph Lundgren is endangering these people's lives. And of course, he's cut off their ears. I hear you loud and clear, Sarge. He's doing this and he's pulling up the ears. And of course, it lines up where the two of them kill one another. They die. In the opening scene of this movie, your two stars die. And of course, years later, or I guess a few months later, they're brought back from the dead as these like zombie universal soldiers that, of course, Van Damme is going one way, and of course, Lundgren's going the other. And it's this crazy kind of, again, road film where JCVD meets up with Ali Walker, who plays this reporter. Love her in the film. I think Ali Walker does a great job, and that's just a good, I like her heart, her character, her energy, her spunk. I thought she was really good. You know, they meet up, and of course, Dolph Lundgren's lost his mind again. He's tapping back into, you know, Sergeant Andrew Scott, his mind that kind of got lost in the war. And to me, you have a great versus movie. That's basically what this is. It's a road movie where JCVD is on the run from him. You know, Dolph's on the run from JCVD, vice versa. And you get some great action scenes. And of course, this was Roland Emmerich to me at his best. I know Roland Emmerich gets shit. I liked this particular Roland Emmerich movie. I would say it's my favorite of Roland Emmerich's work. And I thought he did a really good job here directing the action sequences, the really fun truck chase. Are we having fun yet? Dolph Lundgren is tremendous in this movie. He is, what? We're dropping like flies, man. You kiss ass, I kick ass. The whole rant in the grocery store, and you see, they're everywhere. And he's 4 headshots in a row. I love that. JCVD is this ultimate babyface who I just think JCVD is one of the best baby faces ever. I love JCVD. There's scenes where he overheats and Ali Walker has to put the ice on him. They have to cool down, otherwise they'll overheat and die, these Universal Soldiers. To me, what always makes this an all-time classic to me, and something that I know people, again, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hate for the T2 thing. There's nothing in T2 that adds or is better than the final fight in this movie. We're in the rain. It's pouring. It's emotional. We built these characters up to this perfect crescendo point. Dolph is just truly beating the holy hell out of JCVD, and he's flying and kicking him back. And ultimate, you know, like WWE David versus Goliath type story. And it's pouring rain, and JCVD is no, as Dolph takes off a freaking grenade and throws it to try to hit Ali Walker. And woo! I mean, incredible. That fight, that feel is why I love movies. I mean, that's why I love cinema, is to feel like that when I'm watching a movie. A truly great fight that built and payoffed perfectly. And I love that battle. There's emotion there, there's heart, and it's two soldiers that are, dead, but you see a lot of their past selves in them. You see the hero that JCDB was, you see Andrew Scott, Dolph Lundgren, who slowly lost his mind and fell to the fever of war. And I love that final battle. To me, that to me is like prime cinema. I just don't think they make movies like that anymore, where you just get so up and interested into it. And Ali Walker, no, I'm a sucker for it. I love it. I just think this is great. To me, one of the most underrated action movies ever. I love this. I love Universal Soldier. Absolutely love it. So let's see what y'all have to say in the comments, though. I'm very curious. I know I'll probably piss people off. I'm sorry. I have hot takes. If you thought that was a hot take, wait till you hear a later one. Universal Soldier is a classic. Totally agree. Oh, baby, what a flick. Hell yeah. Love it. JCVD. Universal Soldier is awesome. Up there with Cyborg for my favorite Van Damme movie. Cyborg's underrated. Universal Soldier is awesome. Enough said. Completely agree with you, man. Yes, Grande, preach on, Graveyard Man. Always, Little Monsters from 1989. This underrated movie is so funny. You have Fred Savage, his real life brothers stumble into a world under the bed. You have Howie Mandel, of course. Jean-Claude Van Damme. That was the emoji you gave me before. Thank you. Roland Emmerich is a hack, and this movie is pretty bad. Dumb action, fun, a la Cannon film. See, that's a rough one, man. That's a rough. I mean, I respect your take, of course, but I think maybe Roland Emmerich became a hack, but I think at this time he made genuinely good movies. And I wouldn't even say, I think Cannon that's tough to put that label on this movie. But hey, man, this is a night of hot takes. I appreciate you giving me a hot take. Hot takes in the chat, please let them fly. I don't care. I'm never going to judge y'all. I disagree. I don't know if Trenchy's saying this to me or if he's saying that to Synth. I'm guessing he's saying it to me. Highly disagree, but I respect it, and I respect whatever you're saying. Universal Soldier rocks. You're crazy about T2. Still love you, and I love you too, Mernsy. And I know what's in here. You're like, get fucked, Grande. We're gonna get there. That's gonna be fun. The final fight is great. It's kind of similar to Time Cop's finale in a way. Sure, totally, and even Demolition Man, another one I really love. I can't believe you've never seen The Wizard. It's with Fred Savage, and it's also a very young Christian Slater, who has teen heartthrob of the 80s. I have not seen that. No, I'll have to add it to the watch list. I don't know about being better than Terminator 2, though. Terminator 2 was a great movie, iconic. Totally respectable. No worries. I know it's a hot take. Score by Christopher Franke of Tangerine Dream, probably the only good part. A very cheap-looking movie. Really? Universal Soldier? Do you think this looked cheap? I'd have to disagree with that. Wow. Lundgren kills it he's great. Dolph is I think Dolph's electric in this role. Sorry, G, I prefer. Don't be sorry. I know that's a hot take. I know probably 99 out of 100 are going to say Terminator 2 is better. I'll be the one. I don't even care. That's just an honest opinion. The scene in the grocery store is awesome. Dude, yes, he's great. He's fantastic. Ali Walker was great in it and amazing in a handful of... Yes, I love her. I think she was she had a nice energy and personality. I love this movie. I haven't seen it in a long time now. I have to watch it again. I do. I highly recommend you do. There's a scene where JCVD fights all the people in the diner because he's eating all the food and you're going to pay for this? And he just does it and then starts beating everybody up. That's great. But I'm sorry, T2 is far superior, but Universal Soldier is great. Dude, totally respect it, man. Universal Soldier is fun, awesome. Two hot action hunks doesn't hurt the movie either. Absolutely. The original Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead is another very underrated classic movie. There is a psycho-like score in the movie. Okay. What do you eat for dessert when you already have a snack? Oh, shit. Look at these women talking. I love Demolition Man and Judge Dredd. Demolition Man I adore. Wesley Snipes is great in that movie, as is Sly. You got a lot of underrated ones aside from what we're talking about. Excess Baggage with Alicia Silverstone. Okay. Ciao, Grande Mateo's here. Better late than never. What movies you talked about and may have rant on? Hi to the whole graveyard. Well, I have put over Country Bears, Toys with Robin Williams, and now Universal Soldiers. I have buried the substance and funny girl. And there's another rant coming out of the trash bag next, but we don't know what that's going to be until I reach in there. I would say Universal Soldier is a good film. It does what it sets out to do. It accomplishes all its goals. I think that's very fair. I totally think I have it. Maybe I overrated a little much, but I love the movie. Britt, I wish I lived closer to each other. I have a feeling we'd be besties. Oh, hell yeah. I love the friendships forming here in the chat. I do appreciate that. But it's time to rant, baby. It's time to rant. Let's see what we got here. Dominic St. Clair says Samurai Cop is underrated. Okay, very cool. What do we got over here? All right. James Bond fans, where are you? We're about to bury one as Mr. Dan checks in. Hey, guys, Mr. Dan in Horror. Welcome, my friend. Hope all is well with you. Speaking of Terminator, you could claim Dark Fate took the concept of overheating and calorie consumption from this movie. There you go, Synth. See? We're rallying Synth here. He's being rallied around to our side of Dolph Lundgren. I'm all ears. Dolph Lundgren will win you over. I guarantee it. Actually, I don't guarantee it, really. I don't. Not at all. But this next movie did not win me over. This was, of course, the finale of the Daniel Craig. Speaking of Mr. Dan steps into the chat. Of course, this is the last Daniel Craig James Bond film. And, man, what a way to go out on a fucking horrible note. From the year 2021, there's no time to die. Yes, no time to die. Brief plot synopsis. James Bond has left active service. His peace is short-lived when Felix Leiter, an old friend from the CIA, turns up asking for help, leading Bond onto a trail of a mysterious villain armed with dangerous new technology. This movie sucks. Straight off the bat. I mean, that's a good way to kick it off. I like Daniel Craig as an actor. I like him a lot. I know this role. It's weird. Like, it seems like he likes the role sometimes. He doesn't others. I feel like he maybe feels it stunted a little bit of his growth as an actor and maybe some of the variety he could have played to, in other films. And now I'm not saying he didn't play some, in some other good movies. I like Daniel Craig a lot. And as much as I don't like, I didn't think I would like the Knives Out movie because of Rian Johnson. I liked Daniel Craig. I thought Daniel Craig did a really good job. It's not a good movie, but he's good in Dream House. I like Daniel Craig in, just about anything I've seen him in. I like him as an actor. I know Mernsy was telling me he's not a fan of him as Bond. I know a lot of people don't like him as Bond. Well, he's blonde. He doesn't look the part, blah, 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 blah. Say what you will. I like the actor. And I'm a big James Bond fan. I'm a huge James Bond guy. I love it. Huge. Love all of them. I have almost all of them on VHS. Except these ones, of course. These ones I have on Blu-ray. I loved Casino Royale. I know everyone hates Quantum of Solace. I don't mind that movie. It has a lot of issues, but I think the pacing of the movie helps. I think the finale is fun. I like the Bond girl. I know that movie had issues with its editing and its writing, and that was when the writers were on strike. I give Quantum of Solace a pass because it's short. And honestly, I don't mind that movie. I know everyone hates it, but I don't think it's as bad as this, especially. Skyfall is arguably the best. I love Javier Bardem. Javier Bardem should have won an Oscar for that movie. I love him as the villain, the best villain in any of the James Bond with Daniel Craig. I love Skyfall. Hated Spectre. I thought Spectre was a huge step down, and Sam Mendes decided to leave the series. They wanted him to do the last two. He left after Spectre because it was such a fucking disaster. And they bring in Kari Joji Fukunaga to direct this last one here, No Time to Die, which in my humble opinion is easily the worst of the bunch. I despise this movie from top to bottom. Where to even begin? And this is, we're talking about short movies before. This is a 3-hour movie almost, 2 hours, 43 minutes of really nothing. I mean, I thought this was just dull from top to bottom. James Bond's retired again. How many times is the Daniel Craig James Bond retired? Like, it almost becomes a joke. It's like Brett Favre almost. It's like, I'm retiring from the Packers and I'll always be a Packer, but now I'm going to be a Jet. And I'm going to retire from the Jets, but now I'm going to be a Minnesota Viking because I play the Packers twice in Lambeau Field. Like, that's what it is. It's literally become a parody of itself. How many times can you retire? I'm retired. I'm going to get drunk. I'm Daniel Craig James Bond. Horseshit, another retirement angle. The love interest from Spectre, she's in the background for a lot of this movie, and he doesn't trust her fully. She may or may not have had a child with him who looks exactly like him, but she tells him, Oh, I'm not. He's not. She's not your kid, James. She's not your kid. It's not yours. Horse shit. That would be like telling me that there'd be a little four-eyed fucker running around with a Tales from the Dark Side hat who's drinking Mountain Dew and loving pizza and loving horror movies, then say, "Hey, Grande, the fucking kid ain't yours." Horse shit. You knew from the minute go that that was his daughter because they're the same goddamn eyes and blonde hair. Dude, what the hell? You have some atrocious characters in this movie. I mean, atrocious. I love Jeffrey Wright as an actor. Jeffrey Wright's great. You know what they do to Jeffrey Wright? They kill him off and they shit all over his character. I love Jeffrey Wright in Casino Royale. You're not buying back in? I'm bleeding chips. I'll stake you. I love him. He's great. And in this, he falls prey to the most obvious bad guy, where it's like you could tell this guy's a snake. James Bond tells him he's a snake, and he's no, he's good, he's cool. He ends up getting shot and killed by the snake. Wow, I'm shocked. You know how shocked I am? I might as well have been electrocuted. That's how shocked I am. Bunch of horse shit. Then he meets up with a new 007 agent who was who the fuck played the new 007? I don't remember the actress's name. Lashana Lynch as the new 007. I'm sorry, was this character fucking needed? This is his last hurrah as fucking James Bond, and you forced in another 007 in here just because. There's no spin-off plan. There's no fucking series plan. There's nothing planned for this character. We just had to throw her in here to take some of the spotlight off of this guy when it's his last time playing the character. A disgrace. Ana de Armas, who is beautiful. I love Ana de Armas as a looker, at least. She plays this clumsy, I've just started the job. I'm awkward. I'm drinking cherry cola, but I kick everybody's ass. You have Remy Malik as the villain. Remy Malik, I'm sorry, is a pussy. I don't like Remy Malik at all. He sucks. I don't like him as Freddie Mercury. Hot takes. They don't get any hotter than these takes. I don't like Remy Malik. He's not a good fucking actor, in my opinion. He sucked as the villain. You barely see him until the 2-hour mark. You get maybe 2 scenes of Remy Malik. Who? I'm weird. I'm Remy Malik. I'm wearing these fucking bruiser masks on my face. Dude, you stink. You were no fear, no presence, no oomph. You're about 4'11", fucking standing on fucking stilts. You stink. I mean, I just don't like Remy Malik at all. He sucked as the villain. I didn't like him at all. The whole thing in this is there's this technology where if you get touched by the villain, you can. If you're affected by whatever he has, if you touch someone that has it, they'll die. They'll disintegrate. That was the big thing in this movie. And we get this whole thing with Christoph Waltz, who was the villain in the previous movie. He kind of shows up in one scene randomly to tell him, oh, this guy is a big bad wolf. They never rebounded from Javier Bardem. Like, Christoph Waltz sucked as the villain inspector, and, they all worked for me. Horse shit. No way Javier Bardem worked for anybody. That was your final villain. That's your final boss. Whereas these two guys, I mean, I just didn't buy them as villains at all. It's overlong. I don't have any memorable action sequences. Gone is the beautiful visual aesthetic that a Sam Mendes brings. If you don't like Skyfall, whatever, I think you're nuts. But Skyfall visually was just impressive and just had so much life and energy and colors and vibrancy. This is just, I mean, they're trying to do that with some Oriental, with some snow. It just doesn't hit home. I just don't. I would have liked if you had Moneypenny in here. I mean, he had great chemistry with Naomi Harris. I thought that's a character maybe we could have focused on more. She's in all of them. But no, we're going to force this 007 lady that's not been in any of the other movies just because. Like, why do you introduce a character in the last movie? It just sucks. I just thought that sucked. I would have loved to see more Moneypenny in James Bond. Maybe a relationship there. Maybe more chemistry there. Those two had chemistry. I would have preferred that. The whole finale is bad. And then, of course, James Bond dies. He gets blown up with rockets, and he's crying on the phone. She's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Crying his eyes out about his daughter that he was lied to and told it wasn't his daughter, even though it was obvious. What a shitty finale. What a shitty note to go out on. I like Daniel Craig as an actor. I like Casino Royale, and I love Skyfall. I don't mind Quantum of Solace, even though I know everybody hates it. But the Spectre and this were absolutely. I leave it as a trilogy. I would never watch Spectre again. I would never watch this movie again. Absolute horseshit. A terrible way to end, I think, actor's run as James Bond, in my opinion. But I know a lot of people loved it. It is what it is. Let's see what you'll have to say in the comments. I think I forget where the fuck we were. I think we were here. Did you know? I'm sorry. No, I was here. The Daniel Craig James Bond movies always put me to sleep. That's fair. That's a lot of people feel that way. Did you know that before there was? I did that. I know that. That's Peter Sellers and oh my God, Ursula Andress is also in that. I believe that's an awesome movie. I like Casino Royale from the '60s. I fuck with this one. Funny ending. Yeah, it is a funny ending. Bronson and Craig both had great introductions to Bond, but their other Bond movies are pants. I would agree. I mean, I love Brosnan a lot, but again, you're right. A lot of them are pants. You're right. I've never heard anybody say it that way quietly, but you're right. I would agree with that. I mean, I would say Craig. I would say Skyfall is really good too. Those are Skyfall, Casino Royale, great movies. I like both of them. Brosnan, yeah. I mean, the one with Halle Berry and Denise Richards is pretty rough, as hot as Denise Richards is. I like Daniel Craig. I like Casino Royale. I do too. I would agree with you. Have a hot take for the Graveyard Crew. I have never watched a James Bond movie. No desire to. That's understandable. It's not everybody's cup of tea. I think that Mel Brooks movie, To Be or Not to Be, is very underrated. A lot of people don't know it was a remake of the 1940s film. Skyfall was good. I'm a huge Bond fan, or you. No Time to Die is very bad, almost as bad as Spectre and Moonraker. Best Bond movies, GoldenEye, Goldfinger, Casino Royale for you, top three. Well, you said two of them. GoldenEye would be in the top three. Skyfall would be in my top three. Wow. I love Craig. I thought Craig might be my favorite Bond. I don't know who's my favorite Bond, best Bond movie. That's really tough. I would have to get the whole list out, Mateo, to really give you my I would off the top though. Casino Royale is great. It's up there. I love fucking Dr. No. I know that's old and people don't like that one as much, but I like Dr. No a lot. Live and Let Die. I don't know. We'd have to totally bring out the Bond list. Maybe we'll do a Bond show one day. Bardem is great, but I thought Skyfall was dull, including his part. Really didn't like. So you think he's great, but his part was dull. Okay, that's fair enough. I like Skyfall. I know my dad would agree with you. My dad is a big Bond nut. Like, we always talk Bond. And he felt that Skyfall's story about, Judi Dench's character being more prominent. I liked that, but I could totally see why someone wouldn't. And I do think she's sorely missed. Like, you missed Judi Dench and Spectre in this movie. Like, I didn't realize how important she was until I saw those two movies. Never watched this one. Only Bond film I haven't seen. Man, it's a letdown. It really is a letdown. I kind of hate this movie. Best thing about Craig versions is he added more physicality to the role via parkour and other action stuff. Connery only took it so far, and so did the books. That's fair enough. I don't know. I like Timothy Dalton ones. While there's few of them, I know a lot of people say those are the closest to the books. I don't really like those very much. I do like the Craig ones. I do like Roger Moore. Roger Moore is fucking really good. Roger Moore actually might be my favorite Bond. Yeah, Roger Moore is my favorite Bond. There's no doubt. It would be Roger Moore for me. 3 hour plus. Oh hell no. Yeah, it's terrible. If you want to laugh, watch the coverage of banned Bond commentary, so politically incorrect and unfiltered. Never was a Bond fan. The only one I've seen is Casino Royale with Daniel Craig. Well, that's a good one to see. I have no problems with a woman being good as Bond, but taking the 007 was a cheap shot. I agree. I have no problem. Like, let's say the next James Bond movie, they do a woman. I have no problem with that either. I just felt to introduce that character here when you're wrapping up Daniel Craig's story as the character was just the wrong time to do it. Like, what? Maybe do it in Quantum of Solace, Skyfall at the latest. You do it in the last of the 5 movies that he did the character. It just felt so silly to me. Also, the song. Oh, do the theme song by Billie Eilish. You're right. Thank you for reminding me of that. The theme song stinks. Billie Eilish. I don't hate Billie Eilish, but that song stinks. I'm with you, man. Oh God, it's horrible. Anybody seen the cartoon James Bond Jr.? That's a forgotten cartoon classic. I've not. The Maltese Falcon from 1931, a decade before there, was known for his classic with Humphrey Bogart. There was this underrated movie adaptation of the classic detective novel. Awesome. It's funny. I was going to mention in my underrated, but I really, after I thought about it, it's really not an underrated movie. Was going to be Angels with Dirty Faces. That was a movie I was going to talk about, which I know Humphrey Bogart is in, and of course starts the late great James Cagney, which I love. And I wanted to talk about that movie tonight, but the more I looked at, I'm like, that movie gets its love. That movie got enough love. Like movies that I've talked about so far, I don't think they've gotten enough love. So that one was omitted. I have no problem with a woman being as good as Bond, but taking yeah, I agree. You remember that? No Time to Die has the theme song from On Her Majesty's Secret Service, All Time in the World. I agree, Mateo. I heard the song and I like it as a song, but don't like moody Bond songs. Yeah, no, it's weak in my opinion. Octopussy is underrated. That is a real title. Octopussy is a real James Bond. I have the VHS right there. One of the underrated James Bond spoofs I've seen is Spy Hard with Leslie Nielsen, of course. You Only Live Twice was always my favorite Bond film. That's one of my favorites too. That's got to be close. Dalton was awesome. Darker edge to Bond would have been great. I wish he had played him a little bit more. Like, what did he play him in, 2 or 3? I really wish he had played him more, so I got him more of a sample. It feels like Roger Moore, Connery, Craig, Brosnan, like they all got to play it more, it felt like to me, than Dalton did. And then, of course, I know that there's always the hipsters. George Lazenby! You know, there's always a hipster who will say that. When a sports figure leaves, they retire the number. They should do that same with a Bond gender swap, get a new number. 0069, that would be fun. Morbius is underrated. Whoa! That's probably hot take of the chat so far. Morbius! Oh, man. Angels with Dirty Faces has inspired the fake gangster movie. Yeah, I mean, I loved Angels with Dirty Faces, but man, like when I looked up Cagney, that's the first movie that comes up. I thought it would be White Heat. I thought White Heat was that's the Cagney movie, but no, Angels with Dirty Faces seemed to come up the most. I feel like Morbius could have been so much better. I'm not brave enough to watch Morbius. I feel like I will literally have a fucking aneurysm. Only 2, so that's not a big enough sample size. I would have to rewatch. I don't like if I could speak. I don't remember caring too much for the movies he was in. I like the actor, though. I like Timothy Dalton. Maybe one of these days, it sounds like there's a lot of Bond love in here, so maybe we'll do a Bond show. The movie with Barry and Richards is garbage, but has the best one-liner of the saga. I thought Christmas only came once. Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's a horrible movie. As much as, hey, I love Halle Berry and I love Denise Richards. Those 2 beautiful women. But even that one I would watch over this. I know that's a hot take and a half, but I would watch that over this movie. I'm sorry. Oh no, he did not do it. Forrest Gump. ... Overrated. I'm sorry, dude. You're totally fine, but I do love Forrest Gump. I just felt like running. Me and Jenny, we were like peas and carrots. Lieutenant Dan, you got magic legs. Lieutenant Dan, ice cream. I love Forrest Gump. I'm sorry. Stop, Forrest, stop. Connor is my favorite, and Odd Job is my favorite henchman. Okay. I don't know if this is underrated movie, but one of the movies I've seen is 0 Hour from 1957 that inspired Airplane. Slasher Fred, you got so many, man. You should do your own video on these, man. You got a ton of them. Don't do it, Mernsey. I'm with Oh no, Evil Connor. Everyone hate on Forrest. One of the greatest movies ever. I love Forrest Gump. You've never seen Forrest Gump? Wow. That's surprising. Here's a man that put over the Country Bears and said he loved it with me, but has not seen Forrest Gump. Is that not a curveball or what? Me and Jenny, we was like peas and carrots. I love that. I'm sorry. I love that movie. That's kind of shocking you've never seen Forrest Gump. Trenchy, man, I think it's because we're so close in age and we saw these movies so young that I actually really like that movie too. I'm ashamed of that one, though. That's like, I always loved the story where Mrs. Seuss, Dr. Seuss's late, actually, she still might be alive. She went, they screened it privately for Mrs. Seuss. And Mrs. Seuss, come, we made the Cat in the Hat adaptation. She fucking walked out of that theater and said, I will never give you sons of bitches the live action rights to do any of my husband's other books. You fucking should be ashamed of yourselves. Fuck you. And Mrs. Seuss walked out. I mean, that's one of the funniest stories of all time. Is Mrs. Seuss just going and just yelling at Universal Studios that their movie with Mike Myers sucked. The cupcake of what? cupcake and Aita. I don't know. I love the Cat in the Hat as well. Underrated, Shoot 'Em Up with Clive Owen. Ooh, okay. Hanks almost followed the Tropic Thunder logic in Forrest Gump. It was so close to Simple Jack. Yeah, Miss Seuss got pissed. She's like, you sons of bitches, what did you do to my husband's work? I mean, I would give anything to have been a fly on the wall in that movie theater to see this fucking lady's reactions. Because as an adaptation, The Cat in the Hat is a disgrace of a movie. But it's so Mike Myers humor and stupid that I do have a liking for it. But I'm not defending the movie. I think it's stupid, dumb fun. Clive Owen's underrated. Tropic Thunder is hilarious. I have no shame at all. Fantastic film. Misunderstood. I do agree that it was misunderstood. It was just a Mike Myers comedy that they sold with the Seuss name and the Cat in the Hat name. Production design was great. The late great Kelly Preston. I don't hate it at all. Dakota Fanning, Spencer Breslin. I don't. Sean Hayes plays a fucking pussy fish. I don't know. Grease 2. Grease 2. Whoa. Reversal of the original movie. Wow. I don't know. I would disagree. I don't like Grease 2 at all. Underrated Gothica. Whoa. We're throwing out Gothica. Holy shit, man. I think I've sparked a fire in this chat. Grinch was awful too. Grinch. Jim Carrey's great, and there's only so much Jim Carrey could do. Ron Howard just got up his own ass with that movie. I know we're not doing horror. How underrated is The Ruins? Wow, that's what you can do. Dude, tell me whatever you want. I don't care. I have the substance you want to do. I don't mind The Ruins. I know there's two different cuts on the movie. There's like an unrated and a rated. I've seen both cuts. I remember liking one more than the other, but I couldn't even tell you. I would assume the unrated I liked better. There is some stupid shit in that movie, though, where it's like, amputate his leg! They do it, and then, like, they're like, oh, he wasn't infected. Like, good thing we amputated his leg. And I remember bursting out laughing at that shit, man. I'm with Slasher Fred. Grease 2, and it's has a masked mystery element. Whoa! All right, Grease 2 is getting put out. You know what? How about, never mind. We won't go there. I love Tropic Thunder. Okay, The Ruins was great. Underrated. No. Yo, I mean, but the Killer Tooth Fairy movie? Oh, no. Oh, that's a rough one. That's a movie that was so short that they elongated the credits. If you ever watched the credit for Darkness Falls, they slowed them down on purpose to reach feature theatrical length. I'm not even kidding you. That is the truth. Darkness Falls is rough. Love The Ruins. Two other underrated ones, Over the Edge and The Legend of Billie Jean. Over the Edge, was that the one where they were like animals? It was animated and they were like in the guy's garden. Was that Over the Edge? OMG, Darkness Falls. I loved it. Wow, we got Darkness. I never thought that movie would ever come up tonight. Also, The New Kids, Sean S. Cunningham joint. Little Lori Loughlin got to pay for their kids to get through school. Heathers is such an underrated dark comedy movie. Love Heathers. Heathers gets its love, no? Do people not? I feel like Heathers is a fucking cult classic. Oh, Kelly Preston, anything. Arrested Pepperonis. The Tooth Fairy sends her regards. Yes, Killer Tooth Fairy, absolutely. Heathers is in my top 10 favorite films, Fred. Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like people love Heathers. It's almost Friday, Grande. Yes, Donovan, it is, buddy. We're almost there. Underrated Dead Silence. Love Dead Silence. Totally agree. Underrated Jennifer's Body. I fucking hate Jennifer's Body. On the last overrated, underrated, I fucking called out Jennifer's Body as overrated because apparently now it's a cult classic. Darkness Falls has the actress Emma Caulfield from Buffy. No, that's Over the Hedge. Over the Edge. Oh, okay. I fucking misread it. Underrated The Gift. Oh, that's the one with Katie Holmes Yates. You gotta love Katie Holmes Yates. It's about teenage rebellion. I'm talking about a movie about fucking CGI squirrels, bro. Well, if that's not a better segue to their next topic, I don't know what is. Next, we're talking underrated. All right, underrated. What we got? You know what? Wow. You would have thought I planned that because this next movie here from year 2007 was the follow-up to a movie Brittany Ward mentioned, Dead Silence. Of course, this was the follow-up of director James Wan the following year in 2007, and unfortunately had the misfortune of opening up on the same day as Rob Zombie's Halloween remake, which unfortunately stomped the immortal fuck out of it in the box office. But you got a movie right here that for my money, is one of the most underrated when it comes to revenge films. You want to watch a real revenge film, you watch this movie right here. Of course, directed by James Wan. Death Sentence. Yes, Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon, John Goodman, Garrett Hedlund. Leigh Whannell has a small part in this. Kelly Preston's in this movie as well. Hey, this could be the Kelly Preston tribute show for all I care. I love this movie. This is a great movie. I would replot synopsis, I suppose. Let me go. Where was the... Okay, right here. Nicholas Hume is a mild-mannered executive with a perfect life until one gruesome night he witnesses something that changes him forever. Transformed by grief, Hume eventually comes to the disturbing conclusion that no length is too great when protecting your family. I mean, of course, this is taken from the same novel as Death Wish. Death Wish with Charles Bronson in the 1970s, and they, of course, made 5 Death Wish movies. This was kind of a remake in a way, but without the same title. They did go on to remake Death Wish with Bruce Willis, which sucks. This movie beats the shit out of it. And this, of course, what people forget was James Wan and his initial, kind of moving away from horror, right? Saw comes out, changes the genre for better or for worse. Dead Silence comes out and does the opposite. It flops. Nobody cared. I love Dead Silence. Looking back now, I think it's a really good movie. The Town of Ravens Fair, the Charlie Clouser score. It's a good film. This was his first, let's escape horror. Let's move away. I want to be a filmmaker. I want to be an artist. And the movie bombed. It opened the same day as Rob Zombie's Halloween remake, which, whether you like or dislike that movie, it made a lot of fucking money. This bombed at the box office. I don't even think it lasted a month in theaters. And it kind of got forgotten about. I think this is a great movie. Of course, tells the story of Kevin Bacon's character, Nicholas Hume. He's the successful businessman. He has a loving wife in Kelly Preston, 2 young sons. One of them super into sports. The other one's into like art. And, he's a little bit unique, a little bit abstract from the sports kid, if you will. The movie opens where you're seeing these home videos of Kevin Bacon and his family celebrating the holiday. They're holding hands. They're, arms around each other. They're a loving family. They all love each other. Of course, one night after his son's hockey game, Kevin Bacon and the son, they go to get gas. The son goes in to get a Slurpee. And there's this gang initiation going on where they burst into the gas station and slit his son's throat with a machete. The kid bleeds out and dies. And of course, Kevin Bacon sees the whole thing happen, but there was no camera. And the guy is only going to get a small sentence, and he decides to let the guy go, let him walk. And the cops are kind of confused by this. Why would you do this? Why the hell would you let this guy go? And he's kind of just disgruntled and mad and all these things. And he decides, I'm going to kill him myself. And him doing that, he goes and kills the guy himself, starts a war between he and this mob of guys. And the head guy is Garrett Hedlund. And Garrett Hedlund's great in this movie. I love his energy and intensity. And we're witless and scared shitless. Like, I love that. I love his intensity in this movie when he's trying to rally up his guys. I think that was really good stuff. We got to get him. That guy you killed, he was my brother. I'm going to get you. You sign your death sentence, motherfucker. I think that's just great stuff. And of course, I see somebody mentioned in the comments, John Goodman. John Goodman plays the father of Garrett Hedlund's character, this guy who kind of, runs their crew behind the scenes and sells all these guns. John Goodman's money in this. I love John. $3,500 worth of killing. That makes you a preferred fucking customer. Well, John Goodman's great. And it was nice to see James Wan step away. Now, I know this movie flopping is why 4 years later, it takes 4 years for him to go on hiatus. He makes his Saw movies as an executive producer. He pockets that money, makes Insidious for pennies, and basically Insidious restarts his career. And that's why down the road, he's able to do Fast and Furious movies and Conjuring movies and, Aquaman movies. And it really, this could have killed his career. And as good of a movie as this is, this movie was a flop. And nobody really cared about it. And I don't know. I think people should give this a second look because this is a really good revenge movie. I love this flick. There's a great sequence where the gang is chasing him and James Wan had the cinematographer run with Kevin Bacon as he's going from like level to level in the parking garage. And I loved how that whole sequence, it never cuts. It's just the cinematographer running with the actor and they're going from level to level as Garrett Hedlund and them are trailing. I thought that was so well filmed. There was a lot of interesting things done with the camera work. I thought the camera work here was so energetic. And again, of course, touching upon the story of losing a loved one. and what you would do to avenge said loved one. What would you do, if your pride and joy was taken right before your eyes? What would it do to your family? Kelly Preston hits a wall. The younger brother hits a wall. They all start to self-reflect and see what the other brother meant to them. And they all fall into this depression. I just thought this was a really well movie, good drama, good action, really good acting. I thought Kevin Bacon was just on the money in this role. There's scenes where he's trying to fight off, I'm not sad. And he eventually breaks down in the shower and he's crying and they play this really sad, somber music. I loved that. I mean, I thought he did a really good job here. The whole finale, this big shootout in a warehouse. I love it. It's basically Taken before Taken. He just cleaning house of all these guys. And I love that Garrett Hedlund, as they're sitting in this like really shitty, grimy, I guess pay for church. They're sitting next to each other. He has like half of his ear hanging off and he's bleeding. And he looks at Kevin Bacon, who's now shaved his head. He goes, you look like one of us. I loved that line. I thought that was you've turned into one of us. What it was all worth for you was to turn and stoop to our level. And Kevin Bacon sees that in reflection, and he's like, you know what, you're right. Like, you're absolutely right. I stooped to your level. And I love his realization of that. I love Death Sentence. To me, a truly great revenge movie. James Wan is just a great filmmaker, in my opinion, and I absolutely love this flick. So, Death Sentence, I couldn't recommend it anymore. Let's see what y'all have to say in the chat. Let's see. I think the gift was good. Oh, fuck yeah. That's a sick flick. Gory, too. Absolutely. Just watched this movie last week. Oh, wow. What a coincidence. Death Sentence, such an underrated movie. I agree. Death Sentence is fantastic. I totally agree. Good stuff, Grande. Got to run. Bye for now. Thank you, Synth. Night Synth. Later, Andy. That's Synth's real name. I didn't even know his name was Andy. Death Sentence is a very real take on revenge. I love the scene with the shotgun. Me, too. I agree. I think that's the thing I liked about it so much. It really did feel real. That's what I liked about it. I like this movie a lot. I love Kevin Bacon, especially in Stir of Echoes, one of my favorite movies of all time. Love Stir of Echoes. I love Hollow Man as well. I don't know if Hollow Man's underrated or not, but I love that movie. Speaking of, I don't know if this is underrated or not. One of the most popular musical series in the Gold Digger series from the 1930s and 1940s. The movie Gold Diggers of 1937 had the classic song "We're in the Money." Okay. I would say Death Sentence, The Brave One, and Law Abiding Citizen are three really underrated revenge films. I would agree with all of those. I really like Law Abiding Citizen. I like how John Goodman sells all the weapons, doesn't give a fuck. Yeah, he's literally selling weapons to kill his own son. Like, I think that's so cold, but that's the character. Underrated, The Talented Mr. Ripley. That's one I only saw once, Brittany, and I'd have to rewatch it. I saw it too young. I can't say if I'm with you there or not. I'd have to rewatch. Four Brothers is a good revenge film with Garrett in it. Okay. One of my favorite underrated sports movies I remember is Little Giants with Rick Moranis. I love Little Giants. That's a great movie. Law Abiding Citizen is like a genius revenge movie. So good. Totally agree. Love Kevin Bacon and Tremors. Oh, dude, who doesn't? I love Kevin Bacon and Tremors too. People weren't ready for Death Sentence. Kevin Bacon wasn't a badass. He was just a broken man with a vendetta and a gun. Exactly. A lot of the stuff he does is awkward, which I don't think people pick up on. Like, usually with these type of movies, I'm an expert now. I know mixed martial arts. I know karate. I know kung fu. No, he was just an average Joe. He was an office worker that screwed up and went too far in his quest for revenge and in turn turns into the very thing that he set out to destroy, which is great storytelling. Kal-El is here. Hey, Grande, what's up to Kal-El? Love Tremors, classic. Hey, Cal, Ola, love Hollow Man, me too. Doesn't it show Kevin Bacon at the end crying with a bald head holding a photo of the family? Yes, it does. Welcome, Clay. Hope all's well with you. It depends, though, what version you watch. I think the unrated version, he dies. Like, he falls over and bleeds out. And in the theatrical version, he's watching the home videos that the movie opens up on. They're all singing, like, Happy New Year and stuff. And you see he's, like, regretting. He feels he stepped too far and cost his entire family as opposed to just one son. It's really powerful. I like this movie a lot. I do. Back to the overrated, though. There's two left in here. I think I got one. Let's see. All right, here's one I'm going to pretty much gloss over because I haven't seen this movie since college, probably. I've seen this movie twice, and I despise this movie. I really don't want to go as far into it because I really think this is a worthless movie. And it may be my hottest take of the night. I don't know if it is or not, but it may be my hottest take of the night. This is a movie that won 8 Oscars, 8 Academy Awards. This one, including Best Actor Marlon Brando, including I believe Best Supporting Actress in Eva Marie Saint. This is a movie that a lot of people say is one of the best and inspired them to love film, and it's one of the best movies of all time. I'm sorry, but I don't like this movie. On the Waterfront. Brief plot synopsis. Let's see. An ex-prize fighter turned New Jersey longshoreman struggles to stand up to his corrupt union bosses, including his older brother, as he starts to connect with his grieving sister of the syndicate's victims. I know people are not going to like this. I just don't like this movie. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not the biggest Brando guy. I know a lot of people, his performance, it changed. Like Jack Nicholson has said this is the performance he considered the best. Martin Scorsese has said this is like one of the best movies ever made. I know a lot of people love it. It has 8 Oscars that it won. As Carl Malden, Martin Balsam in a small role. I just never could get into this movie. The director, Elia Kazan, he went on to make a movie called A Face in the Crowd, which I think is way better than this, with Andy Griffith, which is a movie, again, that inspired me. So I get it. I can see why some people really do like this movie and consider it to be one of the all-time classics. It's just not for me. I don't like this movie. He's working on the docks, Marlon Brando. He got paid to throw a fight, and basically, he's regretful of it. He regrets what he did. I could have been a contender. You get that whole bullshit scene. He has this thing with Eva Marie Saint. I thought they had no chemistry whatsoever. I thought Eva Marie Saint was just a terrible actress. I don't know, man. I'm just not a fan of this movie. I don't even want to talk. I really don't want to talk about it. I don't even think this movie is worth a rant. That's how worthless I think it is. I know there's some people that tell you it's the best movie ever made, one of their favorite movies ever made. I'm sorry, man. I think this one's overrated as fuck. I'm not a fan. I'm sorry. Not a fan. We're going to gloss over this one. I'm just sorry. I don't even feel like talking about it because it's been so long since I've seen it. And I thought it was a piece of shit then. I still think it's a piece of shit. It will never change. My Sister's Keeper, seriously underrated. My Sister's Keeper had me breaking down. I've never seen My Sister's Keeper. Overrated, Interstellar. Okay. Underrated, Gravity. Okay. All right. Interesting. I still got to see this one. I think it's worth. I just don't think it's worth your time. Whoa, Freddie got fingered. That's a fucking wow. That's to me, Country Bears is Citizen Kane compared to Freddie Got Fingered. Freddie Got Fingered is horrible. Jersey, one of the most overrated movies is The Roommate. This is the movie is such a bad remake of the classic movie Single White Female. Is that the one you're talking about with oh my god, what's her name? Leighton Meester, I think that's her name. On the Waterfront is a very classic movie. It has the classic quote, "You don't understand. I could have had class. I could have been a contender instead of a bum, which is what I am." Yeah, everybody considers it a classic, man. I don't know. I never liked it. It's just not, how we saying when Mateo came on here, where a movie like Blowout is my cup of tea. That's just a John Grande type of movie. Whereas On the Waterfront is just not. I'm not interested in the story. It just, I don't know, just never did it for me. A Conscience, that thing can drive you nuts. It's a classic, but yeah, overrated for me too. Okay, cool. I'm glad that I'm not alone there. Underrated, Bones with Snoop Dogg. Whoa, that's a curveball. Hot Shots and Hot Shops oh my gosh. All right, you guys are throwing them out here. Here we go. All right, we got one left for both. Let's take it home here, ladies and gents. Let's take them both. All right, next one. It might be one of my hottest takes on here. I don't know. I had a lot of them here tonight, but it's from the year 2018. This is the one that Mergy said I'm fucked. This was the opinion here that I think I blew his mind with here. When I told him that I think this movie is better than Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yes, I did say that. I do feel that way. And I will explain it right now for you guys. This was my favorite movie of the entire 2010s. I would say of the decade of the 2010s, this is my favorite movie that came out that entire decade. And I know a lot of people don't like it. I know for whatever reason, it bombed at the box office, had a budget of $27 million. Didn't even make that back worldwide. It was a gigantic flop. They considered this, they thought it was going to be a big, big hit, and instead it bombed. This is from the director of Cabin in the Woods, Mr. Drew Goddard, who unfortunately has not done another film since because of the failure of this movie, box office wise. I'm talking about this movie, Bad Times at the El Royale. Yes, brief plot synopsis. It is 1969. Four strangers check into the El Royale Hotel. The hotel is deserted, staffed by a single desk clerk. Some of the guests' reasons for being there are less than innocent, and some are not who they appear to be. I think this is a perfect film. I really do. I love this movie without a doubt. And I think it's one of the best I've seen. I really do. I love this movie. And I know the biggest complaint about it, and the reason I bring up the whole Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, is the fact that everyone says that this is a wannabe Tarantino film. That's the big knock that it gets. Oh, that he wanted to be Tarantino. Nobody's Tarantino but Tarantino. I love Quentin Tarantino. I love all of his movies. I really do. There's not a bad Quentin Tarantino movie in my eyes. But to say that this movie is bad because it's similar to his style of movie, has a similar voice, and then to say that this just doesn't do it as good. I mean, I respect that, but I think this is better than the movie that fucking Quentin Tarantino follows it up with the following year. And it's crazy. The soundtrack of this movie, right? This takes place in 1969. A lot of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood takes the same soundtrack songs on this soundtrack. Hush by Deep Purple, that's in here. Oh God, I'm not good with songs, but there's a lot of the soundtrack that is identical from this movie to Hollywood. And I was like, very interesting. When I saw both movies in theaters, I kept being like, that was used in fucking El Royale. That was used in El Royale. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is like a lot of people now, they're saying it's his Quentin Tarantino's best movie. I'm not in that ballpark at all, man. I think this is a way better movie. And I loved the characters. I love Jeff Bridges. I'm a priest. You know he's not a priest from the word go. You have Cynthia Ervino, who's a great, talented woman, has a great singing voice. She's this lounge singer. She's like a backup lounge singer. And, she goes in. You have Dakota Johnson, who has kidnapped her sister. And, it looks like she's maybe, going to do some horrible things to her. And then, of course, you have, Louis Pullman, the son of Bill Pullman. He runs this whole El Royale, which is this weird, quirky hotel where everything is not as it seems. They uncover this mysterious footage, and there's a whole mystery who's on the footage, where a lot of people hate this movie because, that's ripping off Pulp Fiction. It's what's on the footage, what was in the box, what was in the briefcase, I get it. I know a lot of people like to compare the two, but I think the characters, the story, the mystery, all of that was just so much better here. I loved it. I thought this was great. I loved the slow build. I love that they jump back and forth between the characters' perspectives and pasts. All of these people are not who they seem to be. And I liked this movie as it slowly divulges. And of course, it all leads up and culminates to the big finale where Chris Hemsworth plays this great heel. To me, the difference between Dennis Quaid and The Substance playing a bad heel that didn't get it and gave a shitty performance, and this movie and Chris Hemsworth giving a great performance as this Charlie Manson wannabe, this ripoff of Charlie. I love Hemsworth in this. He is great. What was up to the song 12:30 by the Mamas and the Papas. That's a great song. You see the past of Billy Lee and how he seduced Dakota Johnson's sister into joining this death cult. I thought that was great. And the whole finale where Cynthia Ervino tries to sing for them to have their freedom, and there's this crazy old shootout and flames and stuff. I don't know, man. I love this movie. I just thought this was so good and so smartly written. I'm a big fan of Cabin in the Woods, and of course, this was the director's next shot. And unfortunately, like I said, it bombed. The movie didn't get good reviews. The movie got absolutely nothing at the box office. Nobody went to go see this fucking movie. I went opening night, and nobody was in the theater but me and my friend. It was just me and my friend. And my friend hated it. My friend hated it. He was like, what a piece of shit. He was like, that is an absolute atrocious movie. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. I think this movie's fantastic. Now, I will say this. While I know I'm alone at thinking it's better than Once Upon a Time, IMDb has the movies very close. This is a 7.1 on IMDb, which is a really damn good score. So there are people out there that like this movie. They just probably didn't show up to the theater to go see it and support it. And it's a shame because I do think it's really, really, really well done. I love the direction. I love the colors. I just pretty much everything about this movie I thought was tremendous. I really like this movie, Bad Times at the El Royale. Call me crazy. Mersey said I'm fucked for liking it more than Hollywood. I like Hollywood. Don't get me wrong. I just thought this movie was better. I thought you did a Quentin Tarantino movie better than he did within a year of his actual, movie that he considers his magnum opus. No way. I'll take this movie over any day. Jeff Bridges should have won an Oscar. Hemsworth should have been nominated. Really good flick. I highly recommend Bad Times at the El Royale. It's a movie I don't want to spoil. There's so much to spoil in this movie, and I don't want to spoil it. I really like it. Kaylee Spady is the actress that plays the one that gets seduced, and she went on to play Priscilla, and I really like her. So really good movie in my opinion. I don't see. It looks like nobody's really seen this one. Bones is awesome. Facts. Studio 54 is a movie underrated, but I love that movie based on this classic 70s music and club scene. Too. Totally. That's a great pick. Mike Myers is so much fun in that movie. And you have Nev Campbell, Salma Hayek. Really good cast. I mean, Salma Hayek and Nev Campbell in anything. I mean, sign me up. Underrated Sucker Punch. I would have to rewatch Sucker Punch. I don't remember Sucker Punch. I've heard of Bad Times, but I still got to see it. Yeah, a lot of people haven't seen it, man. One of the underrated movies, I remember My Super Ex-Girlfriend. Yes, I remember that. That's a fun movie. Sucker Punch. I so bad wanted them to make a two-parter for Sucker Punch. It was so good. Yeah, no, I guess I'll have to rewatch Sucker Punch. Mateo, man, I'd be probably the most curious to hear your thoughts on this movie because I know you're a big QT guy like me. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I think it's as good, if not better, than the Hollywood movie. It's such a good movie. Like, how did this not get an Oscar nomination to me? I don't know. I love this. Virgie said it's like a bad Netflix movie, I think. Or he said it is like a Netflix movie that's okay. I don't know. I think that's kind of selling it short, but we all still love Mergy, and Mergy still loves us, and the world keeps spinning. We can all disagree. That's the beauty of this chat. You can all be honest. We can put up Freddy Got Fingered. One of the underrated comedy movies I love is Honeymoon in Vegas with Nick Cage, where he plays this guy who loses his girlfriends to a guy played by James Cagan. Okay. Movies can have similar tropes and not be ripoffs. I think people jump to ripoff too often, be included. Oh, dude, yeah, totally. Hey, I've been guilty as that as well, so there's no doubt about it. Last movie of the night, and I know what it is. I didn't even. Did it fall? I don't know. Okay, I don't see it. Oh, here it is. Okay, it got stuck. It got stuck in the shit here. The last movie of the night. From the year 2014, this movie celebrating its 10th anniversary this year. A movie that I have hated since day one. I am thrilled that it did not win Best Picture. It was the runner-up. From what I understand, it was the runner-up in 2014 to Birdman, which I love. I rewatched that movie back in February, and I still love Birdman. I think Michael Keaton is just tremendous in that film. But, man, this one right here is just not it to me. I would consider it amongst, if not the worst, coming-of-age movies I've ever seen in my life. And, of course, it's considered one of the best, if not the best, so go figure. From 2014, this is Boyhood. Yes, Boyhood from 2014. The brief is a brief plot synopsis. The life of Mason and his family from early childhood to his arrival at college. I'm sorry. This movie sucks. This is what I like to call a gimmick movie. Here was the gimmick. Richard Linklater had this idea. What if we shot a movie over 12 years, and instead of having a situation where, we have the kid playing, a child actor, and then years later we'll have, all these actors replaced by people that are older, and then we'll go from there. Instead, they shot this over 12 years guerrilla. He makes School of Rock. They filmed the opening of this. He makes another movie. They filmed the middle of this, and so on and so forth. It's historic for that. It's a gimmick. I know some people say that alone makes this one of the best movies of all time. And that's fine. I think your gimmick, for what it's worth, it's cool, it's neat, it's unique, whatever. I don't think that necessarily makes this a good movie. And I think the movie itself sucks. And I hate everything about it. I think first and foremost, your Boyhood, your lead character played by, let's get his name here, folks, because he never really acted again, L.R. Coltrane. He is atrocious. There's no personality to this fucking kid. There's no arc to this kid. There's nothing interesting about this kid. He doesn't have any fucking hobbies. He is as boring as a bump on a pickle. Boring. You have Patricia Arquette in this movie, who fucking won an Oscar for it. Patricia Arquette. I love Patricia Arquette. I love her. I love her in Dream Warriors. I love her as kissing Kate Barlow in Holes. Sam, I've been wishing I'm dead a long time. I can fix that. I fucking love her. She is awful in this movie, and she should not have won an Academy Award for this. I'm sorry. She's terrible. Her entire fucking character is falling for men that are abusive, mean, and alcoholics and beat her up. That's her whole character in this movie. There's no real scenes of her being a mom and having one-on-one moments with these kids. Nothing. Hey, I love you guys. We're gonna get through this. I've gone through a lot of shit. I need nothing. 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 You get nothing. You get a lot of whining and crying. Oh, go in the other room. I'll go in the other room. I'm getting my ass beat. You have this fucking scene that is horrible where they're all eating dinner. And for some goddamn reason, the husband, the guy that she's married to, he's acting so over the top. And he's like, you do not like me? Do you not like me? And he throws a glass at him. And he gets up and says, I hate squash. And throws the fucking squash. Dude, what? You had 12 years to make this fucking cocksucking movie. And you hate squash? You couldn't have given this kid any fucking personality? He had less personality than Margaret Qualley in The Substance. God damn it. This kid had nothing to him. You have the daughter played by Richard Linklater's actual daughter. And by halfway through filming this movie, she told him, she said, hey, Dad, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't blame you, bitch. I don't blame you. I would have asked to go home too. I would have said, fuck this shit. This is nonsense. The only perhaps saving grace in this movie is Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke is good as the dad. He's barely in the fucking movie, unfortunately. When he shows up, he's talking about politics and, oh, you need to vote for this person. You know why? He gives a good performance, but the character was just like, really, bro? He takes his kid bowling. He takes him to the baseball games. Oh, this is the this is the Milwaukee Brewers. Learn to hate them. Like, dude, I hate this movie. You have this fucking kid who is just so uninteresting. And there are scenes where, okay, he's in middle school and, whoa, he's going to give it to peer pressure. Were you going to drink a beer? Are you a loser? Are you going to do it? And these kids are all terribly acting in the scene. Oh, no, man, I'm good, bro. I just don't feel like drinking a beer right now, dude. Whoa, just take it easy, man. That's the acting in this. It's terrible. It's 3 hours long almost, and there's no entertaining part of it. There's no interesting part of it. There's no point where I go, you know what? I really like this kid. What an interesting being. I mean, I'm sorry, but there's so many better fucking coming of age movies than this. Palindromes is a far more interesting movie where you want to see use the gimmick movie? Watch Palindromes. Palindromes beats the shit out of this movie. That's a great coming of age movie where the gimmick of that movie is every single scene, the lead actress, the lead girl coming of age, is played by a different actress. I thought that was a better used gimmick, yet we still got to learn her character. We learned about Aviva. We saw Aviva's struggles at home and when she moved away. There's nothing to fucking watch here. This kid is boring. He is as boring as watching paint dry. He has no character, just nothing. It's just like, and then there's a scene where I agree with the teacher. The teacher says, you seem like you waste a lot of your potential. What do you want from life? And he says, oh, I don't know. And that's it. That's fucking it. And then the last fucking scene is, oh, I'm off with my girl in college. My mom is sad. She's crying because she's fucking has the worst tasted men that I've ever seen in the history of fucking women. Everybody she marries is an abusive drug asshole who doesn't like their fucking son. And I don't like your son either. And I'm not even married to you, dumbass. They are in the fucking mountains. And this girl says the worst line of the movie. She says, oh, I don't really think it's like, everyone says seize the moment, but like, I think that like the moment like seizes us. And I think it's a really beautiful thing. And he's like, yeah. And then the fucking movie ends. When I first saw this movie, I got up and caught a fucking Randy Savage. Oh no, the fucking Boyhood movie stinks. I'm going to snap into a Slim Jim and then drop an elbow on Richard Linklater. Oh yeah, dig it. I mean, bro, what the hell? This was a runner-up for Best Picture? I mean, it's just atrocious. The writing's bad. Oh my God, the writing is terrible in this movie. The acting is terrible, aside from maybe Ethan Hawke. This is a weak coming-of-age movie. And you can probably say, oh, Grande, maybe you can't relate to it. Maybe it's a situation where your boyhood was different from his boyhood. You want to throw that stone at me? I'll throw you the fucking stone back. I couldn't relate to the character in Moonlight. That's a way better fucking coming of age movie than this piece of shit. I couldn't relate to that. I couldn't relate to it. I didn't deal drugs. I didn't grow up in a fucking bad neighborhood in Florida. I'm not fucking gay. I can't relate to it. I can't relate to it. But it's still a fantastic movie with fantastic direction from Richard Jenkins, a very conflicted lead character that had fucking something to him. Whereas this guy is just fucking, I painted my nails, guys. Buddy, I don't care if you painted your fucking rectum. You're boring and nobody likes you. None of your stepdaddies, none of your fucking mom, nobody likes you. Your teachers don't like you. No. And there's a reason this dumbass never acted again, because he stinks, as does this movie, which has an 8.1 on IMDb. An 8.1. I'm sorry, 7.9 on IMDb. All for this piece of shit movie. Don't waste 3 hours of your life. It's a worthless piece of shit, hopeless, pathetic movie. It's just absolutely the shits. I hate this film. Let's see what y'all have to say in the comments. You sons of bitches. Let's see. I don't know. Wow. Coming of age with the fucking, yeah, basically. It took, Agent Legrand. That's a first. I've never seen that name either. Agent Legrand. Welcome. It did take 12 years to make, but it's a fucking gimmick. I haven't seen Boyhood, but I've heard of it. Have not seen Boyhood. Well, you guys are lucky. You have 3 hours of your life that I'll never have. Gimmick was movie as a that's what it is. It's the people. Oh, isn't that amazing? But what about your movie? What about the film? What about making any of these people interesting or having a funny line? And this is Richard Linklater. I love Dazed and Confused. I love School of Rock. I'm a big fan of Richard Linklater. This movie just ain't it. It's just so bad. It felt like the writing was done sporadically too. The writing is just so bad. Holes is great. She should have won for Holes. She's that good at Holes. Instead, they gave her the Oscar for this, which is a disgrace. M back. LO just reading a review of Boyhood. Man's got his tastes. I'm curious, Grande. Have you seen the? I have only seen the first one, and Ethan Hawke is really good in those movies as well. I have not seen the second or third one though. I don't know if this movie's underrated, but the movie Dangerous Minds is such a great movie. You have Michelle Pfeiffer playing this ex-Marine who comes to this unruly school, and it has the theme song, Gangster's Paradise. I love that movie. That's a great call. Dangerous Minds is a classic. One of my favorites ever. That and 187, the ending is superb. It's a nice movie about life. Mergy, I'm sorry. I know Mergy and Alpha was telling me that's like one of his favorite movies. I am shocked that anyone, I think this is one of the worst coming of age movies. I really do. I don't have anything positive to say about it. Maybe Ethan Hawke. 187 with Sam Jackson. See you later, Double G. Must walk the pug. Awesome, Double H, man. Thank you for coming tonight. No, hell, I agree with you. Don't waste 3 hours of your time. Sounds like one of those PSA movies you'd watch at school. Dude, even PSA movies had more interesting things. Night Brittany. There was an underrated movie with Sam Jackson where he played this racist cop. Oh, that's right. Lakeview Terrace. That was a fun movie. Sam Jackson's great. Boy, it did not look interesting to me. I passed. Looks like a great movie after your review. Yeah, it's funny, man. If you count the amount of people that'll message me after I bury a movie, they're like, I watched the movie the next day. I'm like, God damn it, when I put a movie over, why can't you do that? Like, I think when I hate something, it's so passionate that people just go, oh my God, I gotta see this. Like I'm humbled by that. I feel bad that you have to sit through bad cinema for it. I think everyone says seize the moment. Everyone says carpe diem. Everybody says that, but like I think like the moment like seizes us. Dude, I wanted to fucking punch somebody in the face when I heard that. I was like, that's the last line of your movie? Is this bimbo airhead idiot saying the moment seizes us. Haha, we learned everything about life. Thanks for spending 3 hours with us. Have a fun ride home. Go fuck yourself. Like, come on. Oh, man. Boy, it sounds like they took a classic 1990s black movie, Boys in the Hood, and minus the S. Okay, yeah, they just, yeah, it's a bad film. Dude, that sounded like a mix of Macho Man and... Yeah, my Gilbert Gottfried is much better. Grande Reds are the best. LOL. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Speaking of Gilbert Gottfried, his movie Problem Child, I love Problem Child. Back to the Future, best coming of age movie, hot take. I love that movie. Always heard Boyhood was bad. Really? I'm shocked. I've never heard anyone really bury it other than me. No, I shouldn't judge it before I've seen it, but there's no way this is better than Holes. Dude, I'm with you, man. There you go, be no Yell, that's the fifth. I'm all with you. Yell Spotted Lizards for life. I almost made it through the stream without getting mad, but then you had to go mention Moonlight. I'm sad now. I'm kind of sort of, but I like Moonlight a lot too. I put Moonlight over. What are you talking about? Or School of Rock or Dazed and Confused. I love both of this movie too. Not a favorite, but I liked it. I know Alpha says it's one of his favorites. Alpha says nice. Yeah, I like Boyhood when I saw it in 2014. Probably wouldn't want to rewatch for real. Definitely finish the trilogy someday. It's pretty good stuff. Whiplash was the best movie that year by a mile. I love Whiplash. That's a great movie. Absolutely. I would actually say they got it right. I think Birdman was a great movie from that year. And horror-wise, It Follows. It Follows was like late 2014. So that was a decent year for movies. But Boyhood is on my shit list. That's on my overrated list here tonight. But yeah, we've been out this for about 2 hours. We've unwrapped the shit of Overrated and the underrated gems of the Grande's Graveyard Mug. This was a lot of fun. It seems like you guys had a lot of fun in the chat. I'll totally keep doing these. It seems like this is a very a show that people want to watch more. So maybe we'll do horror the next time. That would be number 5. We've been to 4 of these shows already. If you haven't checked out the other 3 and you want to, those are fun shows as well. Next week, we'll be talking all things Japanese horror as we watch our Japanese J-Horror Rising box set from Arrow Video. I'm very excited for that. I've watched some of the movies already. They were crazy, and I'm very excited to get into the rest this week. Thank you so much, guys, for joining, and I had a great time here tonight. Birdman's dope. Totally agree. Holy, it was fun. James, thank you so much. You stayed up, and I can't imagine what time it is there. One of the underrated classic gangster movies I've seen and think is the best is Bugsy Malone. It's basically a children's gangster movie. Is with the very young Jodie Foster. Okay, see you, mañana, Grande. Hasta mañana, Donovan. Great show, man. Thank you, Trenchy. Love it here. Night loves only. Hell yeah. For me, this is a great format. Ciao. Thank you so much, Mateo. All right, everybody. We will catch you next time. Only on the graveyard. Too sweet, peace. Good night, everybody.